Vexy, Tricky, and maybe DC Rules as well if he's going to be in the playing 5. But ladies and gentlemen, the audience from YouTube, welcome to Valorant Challenger South Asia, driven by Hyundai. And these are the two players who are going to be walking out on the stage, Saipel and DC Rules. You guys heard it right. Kiltuzad is not going to be playing inside Lethal Esports anymore, at least for today. Saipel's going to be the one to sub him out.
And even MLT Esports have made a little change. While we have seen DC Rules play before, he wasn't in plenty of their matches. So that does bring in a little sense of discomfort for this lineup as well. Luckily for them, even Lethal Esports aren't playing with their main lineup. So there's changes on either side of the board. And this kind of flips the script because we know what to expect from these teams based on their previous performances. But because of these roster shuffles, things might change today. I hope we get to see something unexpected.
Exactly. Look at Marzo, man. This man is just so like quiet. He doesn't say anything, just goes there, stands over there like an innocent boy. I just love Marzo, man. He's just so like, he's such a quiet person. He's over there innocently just standing, doesn't want to hurt anyone, no trash talk, no sort of signs shown, just standing there quietly. But moving it forward,
that's not the Marzo I know.
I mean, at least it's exactly, you're right, but inside over here, look at how he's standing, man. Like, looking at him, you would never say that. Marzo, this man is quite innocent. That's what it looks like.
Let me tell you, fellas, Marzel is one of the wittiest when it comes to bantering and when it comes to talking smack. So, yeah, the fact that he looks innocent over there is a big form of deception. I hope they can maintain this kind of deception inside the game too. I hope they can bamboozle MLT Esports this way.
I mean, you can't really be there with a huge, like, you know, pretty much just trying to show a lot of signs against your opponents when your team is struggling there. So I guess it makes a lot of sense why Marzel is just standing over there without even doing anything. So maybe Marzel wants to prove it inside the game first, and then maybe outside the game it will show that vittiness once again. But ladies and gentlemen, here we go, moving forward towards the map veto as Lethal Esports is going to be going for the first ban. The second ban will be from MLT Esports, but I really want to see what sort of map picks are going to be there. And an interesting ban, Icebox is going to be banned out from Lethal. What is Metal going to go for? A split. But Lethal Esports select the map. Considering now they've changed the playing 5, what are they going to go for? Lotus!
Let's go! The second game of Lotus in VCSA, and we've been looking forward to see this map again. The first one was an absolute banger when Reckoning Esports played it, and now we get to see it once again. I'm actually quite happy. Metal go for Haven, which isn't really a surprise. Not the strongest map for a team like Lethal Esports, so Metal have a good chance of winning out Haven. But Lotus is gonna be one big wild card.
Crips, I feel like we might just go map 3 if Lotus is won by Lethal Esports. I think so.
I mean, and that would be their first map win in this entire tournament, so I hope they can bring up something nice.
It really will be, and even I hope that they're over here to win on the map Lotus, considering it's their pick. And as we talked about this, right, Lotus is one of the newer maps. Not a lot of teams are ready for Lotus, so hopefully MLT Esports are going to be prepared for Lotus, because once in a while they have been caught off guard, but this time hopefully they're ready.
If they're ready, it should definitely keep things exciting. I want to see what kind of an agent composition they go for in this map, because Lotus is one of those maps, in fact, it's the only map which doesn't have a set meta yet.
Yeah.
So when you pick up maps like Icebox and Haven, you kind of know what agents to expect, but not for Lotus.
Exactly, and the reason why Lethal Esports picked Lotus is because the last time we saw Metal Esports play against Reckoning Esports, that's when Lotus was picked against Metal as well. So, I mean, Metal Esports when they played against Reckoning. So, pretty much Reckoning picked the map of Lotus, and Metal Esports, it looked like they were caught off guard. So I guess Lethal Esports sort of wanting to use the similar strategy inside this entire best of 3 series as well. But considering Metal Esports have already played that map, the astonishing surprise has already been there for Metal Esports. I'm pretty sure now they're going to be well packed and ready up.
Okay, you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Metal playing with a Fade, Killjoy, Omen, KO, and Jet. 2 initiators. That's quite nice. Meanwhile, Lethal on the Killjoy, Breach, Raze, and Sky. So they do have a double initiator, but I guess Shivy's Breach is going to have far more impact than Jay's KO. It is quite a claustrophobic map, so if you can stun somebody and then put up a nade on top of it, it would be great.
I mean, it's a change in the agent composition from MLT Esports. On the other hand, though, but we're seeing Marzil finally on that duelist role. I was literally thinking about this. I was thinking about this in the back when I saw today's matchup, that I was like, okay, it's Lethal Esports versus MLT Esports. And so far, we've seen Marzil hit those nutty shots. I really want to see this man on the duelist role, and now we're finally able to see this man on the duelist role. Lucio, on the other hand, though, holding outside B still. His team has managed to get the entry on the site. Lethal Esports, they're really starting to overextend now. This might just dig their own graves.
I hope they don't. Jay starting off things really nicely, crunching the B side from both these areas. But take a look at the positioning of Shivy. He's already towards Waterfall. He's trying to keep the C defenders at bay, and then extending even further. Inside the smoke, Rossi does his job, and Marzil is doing really well with the satchels as well. He gets a double with that. Instantly the trades come through. The remaining attackers positioned towards the upper region. It's all down to Marzil and Kakarot. A 1v1 between the two of these, and Marzil comes out on top. Quad kill for the captain.
A huge round from Marzil indeed, and as the duelist, he's doing a fantastic job already. Lethal Esports, I like the extension to try and stop the rotation for as long as possible, but in the end, once again, they got caught off guard by DC Rules' presence all the way from the C side. DC Rules played that phenomenally well. He waited for as long as he could, caught those two players off guard, gave his team a huge advantage in that fight, but in the end, Marzil just won that round off of his heroics, played that perfectly, patience game on the point. Lethal Esports first round on the board for them. MLT Esports, as I said, the agent composition has changed what we saw on the last time. Last time they had a fade on the battle. I mean, last time they didn't have a fade on the battle, but this time we're seeing that fade being brought up from Fox. So this change, it was just the first round. I'm not really going to say a lot, but I really want to see how this change is going to be affecting those rifle rounds.
Ooh, Marzil sidesteps instead of going straight towards the hallway region. Good way to avoid certain death, but with this blitzkrieg attack, Lethal Esports have already taken up the C side. There's not much that MLT Esports can do in order to stop the spike plant, but they can actually channel all their forces in via Waterfall. Just like water, they do tumble, their heads rolling on the floor. Jade, nice, he lands a nice shot, but that's about it. Very little style points and very little round points as well.
Easily taking that round in the hand, and Lethal Esports, now they're having smiles on their faces. I mean, it was an anti-eco, not that tough to get it back in your hands, and Lethal Esports did so pretty well. Now is going to be where they will be tested to their fullest potential. Vandals and the Phantoms on the board. Lethal Esports, on the other hand, they're going to still play for the bonus. But MLT Esports, they have those light armors, so Spectres might just be still viable.
Placing sentry.
Yeah, and especially in a close quarter map like this, if Marzil can somehow close in the gap, close in the distance, then the Spectres will really do well. He can stay at range while the rest of his teammates follow in.
My ult's ready.
It's quite funny how MLT Esports are not aggressing towards B. They've only left B available on the basis of Killjoy utility. Meanwhile, you've got Jay trying to peek out of the C Mound region. There's also a little bit of aggression towards A main, so Lethal Esports, this area of B main is the only place that they have under their own control. Everything else is being captured by Metal, and they're playing for jump peaks.
It's a change in the pace. And Lethal Esports indeed, and now they're here to try and play with their opponent. Seeker's out as well. He was able to get his hands on the Seekers. Marzil, great way to open things up. Kakarot shut down, a little too busy on those Seekers. And now the Seekers as well, they're going to start to point out every single defender on the site. Tricky's position's known as well. They know exactly there's one man on the side as well. And that's why you see the paranoia being whipped out too. Tricky's not going to get caught in the stun. Instead, he plays inside his Cloudburst so far, but he whips the shots onto Shivy. As I said, those light armors are not going to stand that strong against Spectres in the close range, and that's what exactly happens. The players are now starting to fall down. Vandal in hands of Marzil. This time he will connect to short, and this man on the duelist roll, he's just on another level. This man is on a roll. Ultimate pulled out, but unfortunately no value gain. That's a Rosa ult.
He didn't even get to use it. It's all down to Shivy. A nice dink onto JE, but that's all she wrote for him.
But a lot of guns taken away, Crips. I'm still worried for Metal.
Yeah, that's true. Metal had to pay a hefty price to win this round, but hey, at least they get the round in the bag. 2 weapons still carried forward into the next round. Let's see how Lethal Esports deal with this, because they almost got this round in the bag. If it wasn't for the ult going to waste, this definitely would have been a round which Lethal Esports could have taken in the bag.
To
Metal,
fragment
though.
placement and all that stuff. I mean, indeed, I like the change in the pace from Lethal Esports, and I like that they're over here experimenting on the map of Lotus as well. And I'm going to keep on supporting them. Let's see what they have got, what sort of more strategies they've got planned on this map.
This hunt is instantly going to reveal them. Cybel, though. What on earth? That's like 2 seconds into the round, and he's already got the first kill on C. And meanwhile, frags exchange on A. So there's a kill on either side, but this might finally be the decider. This could determine who's got the advantage going forward.
A quick tap and a dirt nap from Fox. Really great way to open things up. And now Marzel once again trying to overextend all the way from the connector. Pushing up
Kakarot
quite
knows.
deep. Yeah, he knows. He's having a little intuition that there might just be someone pushed up, but the entire A side is giving away. This should be a free plant for Lethal Esports.
Yeah, nothing can really stop this. They're using the fake plant, hoping to clear out any kills or utility mana swamps that might be available in the region, but nothing is placed. All of them going towards heaven. Marzel tries to extend further, hoping to neutralize the advantage before Metal have a chance of retaking. But now Rossi is trapped in no man's land. This drop area is going to be precarious for him because there's way too much util being dumped at him. Shivy also can't help him out with the flashes. Aftershock can probably delay the defuse for a couple of seconds, but they will now instantly find out he's towards 3. And they can all just triple peek out of the smoke. He stands no chance.
Dead. My ult's
I
ready.
mean, that's what it looks like. But unless if he's able to hit shots like that, then he definitely does stand a lot of chance. Players being stunned out, committed a huge rolling thunder as well. I mean, he is quite low. The defuse should be there. But in the end, I guess the defuse wasn't done.
It was done. The defenders got it. It was quite a funny interaction over there, wasn't it? Like, he pulls out the ult and then he gets peeked, stays alive long enough to not just throw his opponent into the air, but also kill him as his feet land on the ground. So that was that was something you don't see every day. Both Shivy as well as Fox not being able to perform to the best of their abilities.
Fox, man, that's one of those moments where you're really gonna be kicking yourself, man.
Yeah.
Especially when you're being caught in 4K and the observer's watching you. That's even gonna add a little bit of strategy. They're trying to suppress Tricky over here, but still somehow he manages to stay alive with 40 HP.
Oh my god, poor Shivy. Tried to get a follow-up frag through the smoke, but it's DC Rules who has vision through it. Jay, he's also getting all these frags, so Lethal Esports losing quite a lot of numbers.
Standing.
A surprise kill comes through for Cybel, but that's about it. At least Rossi has a silver lining. He can recover the weapon. But
Yeah.
planting the spike is going to be difficult. Luckily for him, Metal are all playing in positions where they can't back each other up, so there's no trade potential.
Ooh, good spot. Rossi knows there's someone over there.
Blinded.
Wants to go for a fake tap. Still hasn't really committed for a plant. He's got a lot of time in the hand. 40 seconds left on the clock. Play off of that easily. The Prowler gives away his position. Rossi now on a huge run. Metal Esports, they're sort of realizing that Rossi might just try and move all the way towards the C site, but no one's going to be the answer. Rossi rerouting his way back on the B, and Kakarot's there to welcome him.
Yeah, and Metal Esports plays so patiently. They realize that he snuck back towards the C-Link region, so they are in absolutely no hurry to hunt him down. Because he was positioned towards C-Link, he could have gone either way, right? He could have gone via gravel to the seaside, he could have taken the waterfall region, he could even go towards the defender spawn and then head towards Ace. So instead of pushing Rossi and trying to figure out where he is, they just let him do his thing. And then Rossi walks back to where he belonged. Into their crosshairs.
I'm really wondering what made Metal Esports change their playing 5. I mean, we're not seeing Easy inside this lineup anymore. And instead of Easy, we're seeing DC Rules playing in here. So, indeed an interesting swap. I mean, both these players are great. Easy, even he has had some pop-off moments. DC Rule, when he was playing initially inside Metal, even this man was able to play quite well. But still, I want to know the fact. I want to know the process of the thinking that why did Metal Esports make this change inside their playing 5?
Could it be because of the map veto? Maybe Easy wasn't familiar with Lotus. I mean, it is a new map big. Metal haven't played this before, so I guess that could prompt a change. Although, yeah, I'm not really sure.
Familiar is a strong statement, right? As a pro player, you need to be familiar with all the maps. But Maybe I guess their
go.
playing style was just not matching on Lotus.
Maybe we
guess.
can ask them in the interview if they win
I
later on
guess.
tonight.
Hopefully the Hindi desk is gonna ask them if they do win though. But again, Lethal Esports, a lot of presence shown outside C.
Yeah, Marzel already taken off the bag. Now here's the problem. Marzel was using his satchels to cover in quite a lot of distance. With no diving agent available on Lethal Esports, who should we gonna back up in order to help execute this thing in? It's not like Lucia and Cybel's gonna push in quickly. Maybe they can all play together, but that isn't really the case. The spike's heading towards the B side with both the initiators. Meanwhile, Lucia and Cybel are just creeping up A. They're using the dark cover as a way to sneak past. Maybe they're gonna crunch B by breaking the door. Oh wait, it's already broken, so yeah, they can definitely crunch this.
That's what they're doing. It sort of seems like it. Lethal Esports
Bomb grenade
still
out.
taking their time, and now it's going to be a quick burst on the site. With the stun, helping them to make their way in. They've got the site control, they've got the close pockets control as well. The flash is perfectly there to force out the Opper. And now they've
30
got the deep
seconds
control
left.
back in their hands. Trick is still going to
planted.
go and check ahead. And he does find the first opening. He's taken down to 60 HP. And he still peeks out once again. Tricky with the operator. Lines up 3. And he manages to keep his teammates' breath alive for now. 4 players in the front, 2 players on the side of Lethal Esports. Seems pretty impossible.
Last
But all the 4
player
players now
standing.
grouped up in front of Ruben, and Rossi having a huge X factor inside this round. Seeker's being popped out as well, but I feel like he should have had a little bit more patience with that peak.
Yeah, but he was desperate to get that frag. I mean, as soon as the lockdown was popped, they first tried to hold their ground, but when they realized that they won't be able to stay over there, the Nightfall actually marked one of these players and figured out where he is, which kinda told MLT Esports that Lethal aren't in a position to trade each other. And that's exactly why they quickly went in for the fuse right away, without worrying about their own health. Yes, Rossi had an impressive moment when he tried to kill everybody over there by coming in via B-Link again, but hey, that isn't really the way to go around with something like this. MLT Esports, at the cost of 2 ultimates, they get a crucial round in the bag.
And you see these ult utilization too, right? From Lethal Esports. It's just really weird. They're using their ultimates for a clutch situation. For example, that Rolling Thunder as well, used in the 1v3, which didn't pan out well at all. And even that Seeker being used. Well, you can use these tactics, you can use these ultimates inside a team play to make your executes even better, but instead we're seeing those ultimates being used for solo play, and that speaks a lot about their individual firepower. It speaks a lot about their team play, and indeed seems a little weak compared to Metal. But Lethal Esports so far, they're at least able to get their hands on a trade, but Cybel with this flank might just manage to catch Metal Esports off guard, and he probably does.
He's already too deep. Kakarot was aware about a potential flank, but there's now nothing he can do about it. And at this point, everybody on MLT Esports is so far apart that nothing can be done. The 0 point detects 3 people, so that's great. But again, the lockdown from Cybel is not going to let MLT Esports defend. Maybe Fox can make a heroic play? He can continue pushing in. This will be a little bit suicidal, but he's going to go for it regardless.
Spike down. C. 30 seconds left.
Oh. Jay detained and also used as a bait.
Spike
Probably he's
planted.
expecting someone to peek out. That's why he's holding that corner with the operator. He's also got the Blade Storm available. But does he know that Shibi's right behind the pillar in the front? Pops out the Blade Storm, realizes it's going to be quite tough to use that operator in the close range. The concuss being used as well, and now they're going to go for quite an awkward ultimate. Once again, the Rolling Thunder used.
Player standing.
Are they going to expect the man in the close left? They exactly do. The operator taken out a hit, and now Cybel will clean things up on the final man as well. Lethal Esports, they're really taking this matchup close against Metal.
Yeah, they used the ultimates to get themselves out of a desperate situation. They were somewhat cornered in there. You see how most people of Lethal Esports were not able to fall back towards B main, where it is usually where they basically play the post plants from. And even the spike was planted very deep into the site, so they couldn't have fallen back towards Waterfall either. They needed to play from the site itself, or even better, push deeper in towards Hall. That's exactly why the lockdown and the Rolling Thunder both were committed.
Use that.
Speaking about that, and Lethal Esports once again sort of strolling their way towards the C site. Nothing being found, that's another story, but MLT Esports now they're playing a little bit on the back page because they know they've only got sheriffs in the hand. You might as well try to keep your distance and try to get as many chances as possible to pull off some kills, but it's not going to be there.
He was bitten by Will Big away as well as put it out. Rossi not too much either. It's a good frag onto Rossi, but that's about it. MLT Esports can easily get the site under control.
Oh.
But where's the spike though? It's still quite far away.
Yeah. It's making its way slowly and steadily. Cyber's really going for a huge challenge here.
Last
Oh
player
boy,
standing.
MLT Esports, these guys are absolute maniacs. They don't care about anything in the world. He's peeking out with a spike in the hand and to a Marshall. I mean, there's a chance he might be taken down. He still takes that risks and goes for a head-on-head collision against that man. I mean, it's understandable he does have a higher upgraded weapon, but still in a pro game, you don't really see that happen.
Yeah, well, in a situation like this, it's up to MLT Esports to make Metal as uncomfortable as possible. And if that means that Lethal will continue pushing forward even after getting the plant, instead of falling back and playing their standard post-plant positions outside of C main, then so be it. Let them go ahead and make MLT Esports a little confused. The more room you take away from them, the less space they get to retake setup. And that's good, I guess. It keeps MLT Esports a step ahead. MLT Esports do need their space, so if you take it away from them, you're gonna make them very, very unhappy. Hopefully you'll even get them mad enough to make some really awkward moves which backfire.
Well, I mean, it's a tactical timeout, and the scoreline's tied up, and we talked about this, Crips. MLT Esports, they really need to make this matchup on one-sided. They need to win this matchup with a huge gap, with a huge difference. So, I guess MLT Esports will need to play mind-blowing on this map. So far, Lotus has been the sort of kryptonite of MLT Esports, and they're not really able to get their grip on this map.
Yeah, but considering most people think that this is a attacking sided map, the fact that Metal have an equalized scoreline is good enough. This is the third time MLT Esports are trying to attack the B site. They take the orb, no congestion from MLT Esports. But this alarm bot has always been placed over here, so I guess Lethal would have figured out the setup now of the Killjoy.
Yeah.
Wow, so much info.
Look at how deep this man is pushing up. Kakarot pushing together. This time, Tricky will be getting a dirt nap. Kakarot peeks out at the same time. What a quick shot! Cybel gone rid of. And now MLT Esports, as they move forward, they haven't really got Cybel on the board anymore, so that means the flank angle that was being watched out by the alarm bot needs to be taken care of somehow. On the other hand, though, MLT Esports now they're starting to push up towards the C site because they realized one man on the C site was already taken down early off, so they know now C site is sort of vulnerable compared to all the other sites.
Oh, quick flank from Kakarot. Let's see if he can
Spike planted.
regroup along with his team and crunch the, the clutch MLT Esports. But Lethal after planting, like they always do, are heavy focusing towards Hall. They're actually pushing Fox all the way back. His teammates retaliate by taking control of Waterfall instead. So this is now a two-pronged retake. If MLT Esports overextend, it will be fairer for Metal. And my goodness, Fox! This man is not just a fox anymore, he's a bloody dragon, spraying down fire on his enemies and roasting them alive.
Man, if he had the Elder Flame, that wording would have been even more true, bro.
I know, right?
Yeah.
If only.
Maybe you should DM him. You're like, yo, man, listen, you're made for the Elder Flame, bro.
That's done.
Stop using the Pre-Ledge
flame,
Vandal. Stop using the Pre-Ledge Vandal. Use the Elder Flame. The Stiff Dragon.
Well, at least he's got his own mascot next to him, so maybe that's giving him power. We saw how Velocity had a teddy bear mascot for themselves yesterday. Metal choose something more subtle.
What is your favorite Vandal skin?
Prime. I could never
Prime,
buy it
really?
when the time was I could never buy it when the time was right, and now it's never gonna come back to my store, so yeah. Sad.
I've got Prime, but I'm still a Reaver Vandal. I like Reaver Vandals. But
It is never shows up in my store. But you know what shows up often? It's Rossi on C side, and he always delivers.
Interesting. Kakarot was the man who was taken down, and now look at this. A huge disadvantage for MLT Esports inside this round because they've got no controller available. So how are they going to have those utilities that'll deny the vision of Lethal Esports in a post-plan scenario? That means now MLT Esports will need to play on resistance, and that's what probably they're going to try to pull off. Every single player spotted outside the A side with the Nightfall, and now Fox, the amount of information this man has got, it's incredible. Not being spotted on the site, really unaware, but Marshall still somehow connects that incredible shot. Fox is alive on the side and A side. As I said, resistance is the only way to play this side, and MLT Esports make that resistance successfully happen. Last man to go, and Rossi will lose out the duel.
What a monstrous performance from Fox. Like I said, he is a beast unleashed today. The Nightfall detected everybody, and it pushed Lethal Esports back just a little bit, which allowed the rest of the members of Metal to move in as well. Marcel has some fancy footwork, you gotta give it to him. But Fox is still untamable.
Oh man, that duel got way too close to comfort. He committed for a spray there. And that's
Yeah.
the only reason why he lost that fight. Rossi should have went for a little strafe movement first, and then maybe committed to the spray. But once again, I mean, it's just the heat of the moment. You can't really say a lot about that. You just got to give it to Fox for winning that duel.
What you can say is the fact that people have a pattern. They always attack the main. And after that, they might try to crunch up the side by opening the doorway. But for now, they've got Marcel cornered and burning. That's a good way to get a man advantage.
I guess. Just case that man down with an Anna Swarm and just keep on chunking him away. And Marzo will be gone rid of from the game. Shivy, with the Marshall in hand, manages to find a connection, and now the players will need to start to fall back a little bit more. Rossi with the Sheriff in the hand, Tricky. And all that is needed is one single shot on Tricky, and this man will be taken care of. 18 HP in the hand, and he still manages to seal the deal on one of those players. Shivy with the Marshall in the hand, his position was compromised, so they exactly know where Shivy is, and that's why you see that extension coming through as well. A flawless round for Metal, which was really needed, and now they are sort of starting to establish this lead.
Yeah, they've already got the lead in the first half, and they needed to make it flawless. Any weapons lost would have been a massive blow because they don't have the money to afford them again. So they needed this win desperately. Last round of the first half, and finally Lethal Esports have enough firepower to muster up. But with both the lockdowns available on Sidebell and DC rules, yeah, it's gonna come down to one of those patient rounds. You know, it depends on who folds first.
That, and now it's quite a fast showcase on the A site, or it's outside the A main. Marzo was able to get the opening once again. Kakarot being shut down. Not a good news for MLT Esports. That means once again now they will need to play on resistance, and that's what that will be done. Tricky's on the A site, and he will try to go for those duels for as long as he's alive. He got rid of his dash early off, so that means he's not going to have a free getaway card anymore. He will need to commit to a fight if he finds one man in the front, but this time Marzo, not just this time, Marzo always is so good in winning those duels. It's incredible. This man's peaks are on the time, but as soon as I say that, I curse him.
Yeah, but then again, the only person who can take him down is Fox, and Fox is feeling himself right now. A desperate attempt from Lethal Esports to push deeper inside, something they've always done on C. But look at Shivy and JE, they're just running circles around each other. And that's the curse of these circular doorways. You never know what's on the other side.
I hate those
That being
doors.
said, yeah, I'm not a big fan of them either, but at least we could spot into the pattern that Lethal Esports were always going for. Knocking on B and then heading back after planting. They always try to push even further in. Unlike most teams who just plant and then fall back, they don't do that. Lethal Esports push even further into enemy territory. They want to just control that area with both their arms and have so much attrition over there being dropped onto their enemies. It's insane how aggressively Lethal are playing today.
I mean, once again, ladies and gentlemen, that was it for the first half. And as you all know, after the first half, we need to take a little break. Go sip your water, go sip your coffee, keep yourself hydrated. We'll be right back.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
The all-new i20 Born Magnetic.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Hit multiple beats, I get it in.
Welcome back into the second half, ladies and gentlemen. Lotus, a map which is considered to be the attacking-sided map. This time, MLT Esports will have a little bit of more edge on their attacking side. Let's see if they're going to be able to solidify the lead that they have managed to get in the first half so far.
They need this pistol, they really do. At least on the attacking side, their idea of playing post-plant was going super aggressive, and I guess that hasn't really changed. A one-way smoke put up by Lucia along with Marzel posted up on top of rubble gives them the early control they need, but because Marzel is the only one marking this region, the flashes on JE can actually just completely nullify him. The paranoia as well as the prowler, everything thrown at him except the kitchen sink, but Rossi protects him long enough for him to regain his vision, to regain his senses, and now he's lethal again. Marzel continuing to dish out the punishment, does all he can, and MLT Esports seem to be in the driving seat.
They indeed are looking like so far. We talked about this map being on the attacking side, and so far MLT Esports, they've been destroyed. Or you can also say decimated with all the amount of aggression MLT Esports have managed to show so far. But D-Cyril manages to catch the man in the front. He's way too low. Next to impossible to clutch this one out. Lucia's going to capitalize. First round on the board in the second half for MLT Esports, and that's a good way to open things up, considering now you've got the pistol round in the hand. There's a high chance the anti-eco will be too.
Unless MLT Esports go for a force buy, which they often don't. MLT Esports aren't the kind of team that will invest too much money into the second round after they've lost the pistol. So luckily for Lethal, they can continue this wave of momentum.
Speak about the momentum, and there's a high chance now the scoreline will be equalized. This Lotus map is getting way too close.
Can't use that.
Considering now MLT Esports, they've got the guns advantage. On the other hand, there are a couple of sheriffs on the hands of MLT Esports. Maybe, if possible, MLT Esports will probably try to convert this round in their hands, but it's a really tough task.
Oh, it always is. Metal looking for picks, looking for lethals over aggression. They did play aggressively towards A main last time, but that's not the case now. Lethal are aware that Metal will be playing their defaults. They will be looking for aggression. They will be looking to punish it. So that's why they've just pumped the brakes. They're the defenders. They have no onus to push out. Marzel still being really wide though.
Speak of that, trade still happened back and forth. Marzel was playing on quite an aggressive angle. He did manage to soften up Fox as well. But once again, not a value you want to have, considering when you do have the weapons advantage in your hands. You're supposed to get as many opponents as possible. But with only one taken away and trade being positively taken in the hands of MLT Esports, this is just going to give them more advantage inside the Eco round. The alarm bot's triggered as well. The first man gets taken down because of the man is one, but the second one will be able to flow on the site. Tricky does manage to find the man in the front, but Kakarot is able to retaliate. 1v2 scenario, definitely doable if this man connects all of his shots, and that's what happened. What a nice shot from Kakarot.
Just about to stick the plants in the nick of time, and he's got the weapon too. He actually has a chance of pulling off this clutch. More smokes available soon enough. And he now knows where Shivy is. Oh, the dink though. This solidifies Shivy's chances, and now the barrage of flashes comes through, but Kakarot!
What?
This man's feeling his Saiyan energy.
I felt the clutch coming. I felt it. I don't know why. As soon as I saw this man on the sheriff, I just had a little intuition that there's a clutch coming soon. And Kakarot just pulls off that insane 3K and saves his team with that sheriff. With only 14 HP in the hand to kill the last man. But these shots are just disgusting. The crosser placement from Kakarot on the point. It's incredible. The amount of stuff you get to learn from these pro players. It's definitely remarkable.
Oh, it's not just remarkable. You can sometimes feel the heartbreak quite literally. Metal had no investment into this round, man. I mean, if they're forced and then they were able to win, you can understand. But Metal had nothing. They just had a bunch of ghosts and sheriffs. And they were up against with specters on the side of Lethal. So, yeah, that's a big loss.
And speak about that, the B site is completely given away. There's only one turret that's going to be played off of contact, and even that turret gets ridden off. All the players now start to fall back towards the A site. It was supposed to be a C side stack from Lethal Esports, and the rest of the players are playing on a complete rotation angle. If there is a C side possibly being executed, I'm pretty sure every single player will just start to fall back on the C side. But now, if the B side has been taken, it shouldn't be that tough to make the entire rotation happen on the C side.
Face your fear!
Metal Esports not willing to take their chances. They're being extremely careful in getting the stack in the works. Prowler, everything thrown at them, and then Fox just delivers death. Presses mouse one.
One enemy remaining.
And if that's not enough, Tricky's on the flank. He crunches Lucia from both sides, leaving Marzel all by himself. And he is capable of pulling off some nasty shots, but not the round.
Speak about the nasty shots, and Metal Esports able to squeeze away another round in their hands. 9 on the scoreboard. They really now need to start running away with the lead, because Metal Esports cannot afford to give any more rounds to Lethal. That's for sure. And I guess Metal Esports also need to start amping up the heat, because Lethal Esports all the time, if you remember, they're always pushing up A-long. They're taking A-long control, pretty much just denying the one side completely. So all they need to worry about is the B and C.
Yeah, and as much as I want to say that Metal Esports are playing fearlessly, they are actually being very, very cautious. This is not the Metal Esports I'm used to seeing, you know. I always see them variate the pace every now and then, which is something that I've come to expect from most teams in VCSA. But so far on this attacking side, I haven't seen Metal aggression at all. They're always just playing for presence all across the map. They creep up B, throw a piece of utility. They go towards the C side, and then they open the door, which kind of makes Lethal Esports question where they are exactly. And now, after showing presence towards both those sides, they're heading towards A, which basically means Lethal Esports have an abundance of information. They're getting overwhelmed with the amount of presence they're seeing all across the map. And because of this, they can't really take a coherent action.
I personally feel like Lethal Esports really need that pace changer inside attacking side. They need to keep on changing the pace over and over again. They need to keep on amping up the heat, lowering the heat, amping up the heat, lowering the heat. This also adds a huge astonishing factor to the game as well. DC Rules' position is known, but he somehow manages to win that duel. That's a big one. Player taken away from the C side. Now Lethal Esports will start to overthink themselves, and that's what exactly happened. Stun was utilized too from the breach. The spike plant will go down.
Spike planted.
And Lethal Esports slowly and steadily. This flank is now being activated as well. Showstopper utilized. NODWIN found. Going to be a Rosa ult. The turret was gotten rid of with the Showstopper, but once again, it's not a value you want to have when you're going to utilize such a hefty amount of investment in a round. Tricky all the way from the back lines, activating this flank. Manages to find the first one. Rossi's way too low. Shouldn't be that tough to take this man down.
And this is not the first time that Tricky's been on this flank. He's found success before, and now he's doing it all over again. Should be trapped in the pool once more. A pool of his own blood, maybe even tears. That's what he will drown in as Metal Esports get to double digits. Lovely play from Kakarot over there, though. You see, like I said, Lethal Esports were getting an abundance of information all over the map. Metal had so much presence shown. And because Kakarot had already used up most of his smokes, he then had to rely on using the Paranoia, and you had Fox using his C's in order to make sure that both the B link as well as B upper areas were not going to be peaked by Lethal. And at that point, Kakarot found himself trapped over there. So he used the ultimate to escape. Instead of using it to initiate like Lucia was doing, Kakarot uses it to escape, and that's such a big fundamental difference between the team's philosophy, you know? Metal Esports, they don't want to take any risks if they know that they've got the plant down and the onus of the round is on Lethal, if the ball's in their court.
Speaking of the court and Lethal Esports, this time they've been for a timeout. Some heavy talking's being done from Marzel, and if I'm not wrong, Marzel's the IGL as well, right? So The man's now starting to make a lot of calls, and let's see what sort of a change we're going to be seeing in the playstyle of Lethal Esports, considering now they're being forced on an Eco. This timeout has to be to squeeze out this Eco round in their hand, because they know now the opponents has managed to squeeze out the double digit in their hands, so something needs to be stopped over here. There needs to be some sort of a momentum breaker.
Definitely.
A good TP across. No one's going to expect the Omen to be there. Lethal Esports, Sheriff's being spotted out from the long. Hawk used as well to find out the presence. He will be able to do so. Kakarot on the other hand, still just playing behind the door, taking his sweet time. Metal Esports, as always, their pace has been quite slow on the attacking side. And this is what I said. They need to bring that variety in the pacing as well, to add on a little bit more astonishing feature inside their attacking side play. If they keep on switching up the pace, fast, slow, this can just keep on fiddling with the enemy's mind even more. But all the time, they're having this slow pace start on the attacking side. They're taking their time. It's quite understandable. You want to play things really safe, but sometimes over-respecting your opponents can dig your own grave as well. So you got to take those chances on that aggressive plays as well. If you've got stuff planned out pretty well on the pre-phase off the ground. Metal Esports. Utilities utilized. Updraft and dash inside the side. It's going to be tricky, and he manages to find the first one. Cybele taken care of. Right clicks being used, and now they've also got the entire side control in the hand. Lethal Esports is complete guns disadvantage, so pulling off this round is going to be next to impossible. As I said, next to impossible. It's not impossible. It is definitely possible. But Kakarot with these type of shots is able to just shut down any sort of a player that's standing in front of them. Another shot connects it, and Kakarot, this man's on a prowl. One more to go. Rossi this time moving in from the back lines and nothing being found. Metal Esports, that's a clean sweep on Lethal, and they fall apart on their faces once again. Metal Esports, a clean round in their hands. And I guess as long as it works out, you don't really need to change things at all. Just keep on doing what you, Lethal. Or Metal?
Yeah,
Metal
both the
Esports.
teams have somewhat similar philosophies, you know. After they plant the spike, they both play aggressively. The primary difference was whenever Lethal planted towards the C side, they play aggro towards halls. Meanwhile, regardless of wherever Metal plant, whether it's B or C, they all try to focus a lot on C waterfall as well as Link. So that's one area that Metal do not want to let go of, regardless of whichever they plant on. That's a cool piece of information that Lethal can use against Metal in case they figure it out. They can probably reinforce it and just wait for any flank that Metal Esports might be trying to pull off. But this round is slightly different. Look at the defaults of Metal. They're trying to knock on the doors of A. They're trying to peer ahead of this smoke, and after they fire a couple of shots and give away sound cues, they'll now make contact towards C, where Tricky's already prepared. And look at the deep alarm bot coming in from DC Rules. It's all the way towards the entrance of B. This is usually where you see a defensive alarm bot, not attacking one.
Yeah. Lethal Esports as well, I mean, they're not really overextending. And I like the thought process.
There.
They're taking their time. They're really sticking to the rotations. They're playing off of that contact play. Good stun. Utilized to stun out the opponents. A lot of footsteps were being heard outside B. The spam's not going to find any connections. Tricky once again updrafts and dashes on the site. And he's now taking a lot of map control. But Tricky's over-aggression might just be punished soon enough. Marshall finds Kakarot. A huge opening indeed. And Lethal Esports, they're sort of having their claw back inside this entire game. Cybele with the flank is looking to shut out some opponents, and DC Rule manages to shut down Lucia. Once again, the trades did happen back and forth, and now we're down to a 2-on-2 scenario.
Oh, he just about makes it back to safety, but he dies regardless. It's all up to Tricky, and Shivy's the savior. Wow, what a sweaty round. Lethal Esports, they must have had to hold on to their nerves for so long, because you could see the temptation calling onto them now, just beckoning their name. As soon as Metal Esports started to hit the B site, they first planted that alarm bot deep over there. Then they went back C, opened the door, and the reason they planted that alarm bot was to just make sure that Lethal can't crunch them by opening the door themselves. So that control relies in the hands of Metal. But as soon as all that happened, Lethal fell back, and that must have been a difficult decision to take. Under normal circumstances, teams would want to play aggressively after so much control is given away to Metal. But Lethal hold on to the lack of map control, and they still make it work by just conserving their utility. And as soon as they figured out that the plant commitment on B is real, that's when Lethal dump everything inside. They deliberately gave away map control to Metal, and it must have been very difficult for them to not peek ahead, to not go and gather information. But this is the kind of risk you can't afford to take every time, so I want to see how sustainable is this approach.
Okay, quick burst on the C side once again. They've been doing this a lot of those times, but this time it just seems like Lethal Esports are a bit more ready. Cybel, the good spray down with the Bulldog. You don't really see that happen often. Flash being utilized as well, but it's an interesting hawk. Nothing being found with that. Was more sort of like a fake flash for him to just make it back towards all the way defender. And now Marzel as well is starting to slowly and steadily crawl from the B site. 2 players still alive from Metal. Kakarot and DC Rules to try and flip the tables, to try and flip the odds. Kakarot did find the opening on the C side, and that was the first man being taken away. DC Rule extends, and his head gets cut off. Lethal Esports, another round on the board. I like this resistance.
Yeah, and this is such disciplined resistance from Lethal Esports. You could basically draw a line halfway across the map, and Lethal Esports stay on the north of that line. They never try to peek at a C-long or even A main for that matter. They are just playing towards the C halls and sometimes even waterfall. As long as they can take control of this high ground and make sure that Metal can't make their way ahead of the bend, they are okay. But like I said, this is some sort of a passive-aggressive approach from Lethal Esports. They give away certain parts of the map while holding the rest with an iron grip. And if one of the Metal members just breaches that area, if they can just go ahead deeper into enemy territory, that's when things start to crumble for Lethal.
Look at Hacker's notes. He has notes based off of rounds, and he's written down something. I like his handwriting, though. It looks pretty good on camera.
Yeah.
He's
if it probably wasn't inverted, then we could even read it, maybe.
Yeah, like, it's written down on behalf of the rounds, I guess. I'm not sure if he's written down every single round, or if it's just the rounds where he feel like his team made some sort of a mistake, but definitely interesting. I'm quite intrigued. All these coaches that we're seeing on the camera, these guys are writing down those notes on the books. And Hacker, listen, if you're watching this broadcast anytime soon in the future, of course you're not now, but if anytime soon, you can slide in my DMs and let me know what you write down in the book. I mean, you don't need to give me complete insights if you don't want to, but just like, you know, let me know, what do you write down exactly?
Tear it down.
Oh, DC Rules writes his own death warrant.
Face your fear.
Flash along with Marzel Beacon gets the early frag, but as soon as Metal recognize that Lethal are playing aggro towards B, they take control of C instead. They know that this area will be somewhat weak, but Marzel isn't weak. It's quite the opposite, actually. A triple for the captain, keeping the hope for his team alive. And now Kakarot is getting surrounded.
I talked about having a huge change in the pace this time, but just doing over and over again the same thing is going to be tough. I mean, now Lethal Esports knows how to counter you guys on the C side, and Lethal Esports is doing that quite easily. And Marzel, he was saying something on the opposite side, and on their opposite side is Metal Esports. What was he saying? You were talking about Marzel being sort of witty, and I guess we're seeing that Marzel being pulled out. Metal Esports and Lethal Esports, these two teams, things are really starting to go back and forth, but all Metal Esports needs is one more round to take it a map point. On the map pick off Lethal Esports, Lotus was chosen by Lethal. So, once again, if Lethal, on the other hand, though, they're able to win this map, then I'm pretty sure Metal Esports, this might just be a huge mental breaker for them. And we talked about this. For Metal to win this matchup, they need to win this matchup completely one-sided. And so far, it's not been a one-sided affair at all. 9-11 is a close game.
Yeah, it is quite a close game. I guess you could excuse them for now because it's not the map they're most comfortable on. Not a lot of teams have played a lot of Lotus, so yeah, it does make sense that they can't capture the def this one. But even in Haven, if they are struggling like this, then at least Esports
Scout
can
destroyed.
basically kiss the playoffs goodbye. This time Metal finally stray away from the seaside. They've faced way too much failure in one match. They try something else. Doors open, smokes committed. There's only one smoke towards ropes though, so stairs is still open. The Paranoia captures the entirety of Hut, and Tricky is able to go back inside. And Lethal are comfortable giving away this region. That's partly because Marvin's got the big gun, and he uses it to blow up DC Rules. Instant trade from Foxtel.
Buried.
Oh, Lethal Esports, they're just able to find these trades and some huge value plays as well. Jay, that's a good kill on Rossi, but is that kill really going to be that valuable? That's what we're here to find out. Still one man just crunched in the back lines, and Lethal Esports, they're just able to win these duels off of their heroics. Just some good, clean positioning from their side. And Kakarot cancels his ult.
Oh, no.
Manages to find one, but Cybolt's there to trade things out. Make it 10 on the board. This matchup is getting a little too close in Metal Esports. Now they might be starting to feel their nerves, because even Lethal Esports is starting to activate themselves. And Lethal Esports is one of those teams that definitely has a lot of experience inside the pro scenario, not just of this game, even in their past. So off of their experience, this team can definitely start to thrive when they have that confidence.
One enemy remaining.
Good presence of mind from Kakarot. He uses the Omen ult to escape the lockdown, slips into the Shadow Realm for a couple of seconds, and as soon as the lockdown gets popped, he cancels his ult, materializes back towards tree. Unfortunately, can't actually get both those kills. And now that Metal Esports are running out of score deficit and their money as well, Lethal seem more and more confident. Look at the push out from Lethal towards a main build. This entire half they've been playing very passively, but this round all of a sudden Lethal turn up the heat, they turn up the aggression.
And I like this aggression too. It's a huge change in the pace. They're pretty much trying to sandwich the opponents in the B site. On the other hand, you can see even Metal Esports, they're starting to overextend all the way on the opposite defender spawn. On the defending spawn, they are there. They've got JE on the lurk from the back lines, which will be a huge surprising factor from Metal Esports. That's coming soon enough. It's not being expected. Things will add on to the misery even more. Lethal Esports, they're able to find those two good kills on their side. Even the lurk's been taken care of. And now it seems like Lethal Esports do have the man advantage as well to win out this entire fight. We're down a one-on-one scenario. Kakarot's always been the playmaker. And he does so once again with a beautiful crosser placement right onto his opponent's head. And Metal Esports, they're able to squeeze out another round somehow in the hands. But based off of solo heroics with Kakarot's 4K.
Kakarot and B-side clutches, name a better duo, man. This is incredible stuff. Metal Esports had several insurance policies to make sure they get this round. The flank of GE being one of them, but when all else failed, Kakarot did not. 7 HP on his body, 2 bullets in the chamber, and he still gets the 4K. Incredible.
But if you ask me, after that play, have Metal Esports really secured this entire map in their hands?
Not
the answer
yet.
is still going to be quite shaky. I'm not sure, not confident. Because once again, they're able to win that round just based off of solo heroics, man.
Yeah. Still though, the fact that Lethal can predict the flank coming in from JE is actually pretty impressive. They've started to account for all those factors now. The patterns which Metal Esports showed in the first few rounds of this half, where they were basically taking link control every single time.
Blinded.
Yeah, now Lethal Esports are read into that, so Metal need to think of something different for their post-plants. That is, if they can plant the spike in the first place.
Face your fear.
Oh, Marshall didn't find the opening, but eventually he does. But instantly gets traded out. That's definitely a trade that is worth. I mean, he got rid of the initiator. Fox is not inside the game anymore, so that's a good trade considering you're trading it out for a duelist. On the other hand, Lethal Esports, as they do start moving forward,
Spike
the
planted.
opponents, and Lucia is able to find the man who was overextending all the way towards him. Tricky gotten rid of from the game, and Kakarot's gonna ult all the way in the back lines, and the ult is expected as well. Shibby hears it coming, but Kakarot cancels it at the last second. Interesting plays being done from Metal Esports, just fiddling around with the enemy mines.
Lotus fragment holds back anybody who's trying to come in from the stairs region. The 0 point suppresses them even further. And at this point, all that Kakarot needs to do is waste some time. Jay wasting absolutely nothing. He takes both those heads off, and Metal Esports get the map in the bag. Lotus was the one chance that Lethal Esports had to post up a map win in this tournament so far, and now it slipped out of their hands.
It was the map pick off Lethal Esports, ladies and gentlemen, and Lethal Esports have been beaten up on their own map pick. The upcoming map's going to be the map of Haven. Let's see if Lethal Esports are going to show their experience on that map or not. I mean, so far, Lethal Esports has been one of those teams that has been beaten up over and over again, even on Haven, so it's really tough to say. It's really tough to make any sort of calls on a map that is another three-sided. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, it was quite a close affair, a fantastic game.
Yes, indeed a fantastic game. Lethal Esports, even though they lost this game, it is kinda my obligation to, compliment them, because they did read into Metal Esports post-plant patterns, so that's something. Unfortunately, they can't use that information to success every time.
Exactly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, it's time for us to push to a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Hit multiple wins, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Making dreams come true and memories happier.
I know my destiny. I know my destiny. I know my destiny.
Sure. That's one thing Messi
Exactly.
can exploit about Lethal.
Well, you know what, Crips? What time is it? It's time for us to welcome the YouTube champs back to the stream. Welcome back to YouTube family, to Valorant Challenger South Asia, as we do move on forward towards the agent select of the upcoming Haven map, and we have the agent select in front of us too. We're not really going to be seeing a lot of changes, but instead DC Rules is going to be playing inside MLT Esports. No changes over there. Easy is going to be sitting it out today in the audience. He's going to be watching the games. I don't exactly know why this change is made. I really want to know, Hacker. Please let me know.
I can DM him and find out if you want.
Hell yeah, do it. I mean, I can do that too, but I guess I'll do
Yeah.
it later.
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to respond before the match is over anyway. I don't think he takes
True
his
that.
phone with him when he sits down to coach. So.
Yeah, I highly doubt they're even allowed to keep their phones with them.
Oh, yeah, that too. That too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Haven on the cards right now. For Lethal Esports, it's about defending their honor. They don't want to go out of this group stage being the team that hasn't picked up a single map. On the other hand, MLT Esports are fighting for survival. While they are currently on the 4th position in their group standings, there is a slight chance that they can make it to top 3 if they get a big enough score deficit now.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Metal on defense and Lethal on attack. And there's a high chance that he might just be amped up instantly, because it's Lethal Esports you were going against. You always got to expect some of those surprise moments, right? And Tricky, he pushed up quite deep. Cybel, he's hurt a little bit too much. No shots connected on that man's head. Instead, JE was the casualty on the side of MLT Esports. Not a good news indeed. And this time, Rossi's going to be the one to play the duelist role. Let's see how much of an impact this man's going to be able to make. Tricky on the mid was able to find the one, but instant trades from Lethal Esports are always there on the point. It was a little fake being made from Rossi, which caught MLT Esports off guard.
And now MLT Esports have to worry about this multi-pronged approach.
Last player.
Rossi can still get taken down as Kakarot surprises him, but now that his position's given away and the cat's out of the bag, how can he go for this retake? Lucia's already playing towards Garage, and Shivi is gonna be joining him there. Oh no, wait, Lucia goes towards CT instead. Okay, then. Can Kakarot expect this? Now he will.
Good. I like how Lethal Esports played that. They played off of aggression, and they played off of each other's contact. I mean, completely unexpected. Who's going to expect a team that is on the post plan to push out like that? No one's going to expect that. Absolute maniac move.
My primary concern over here is Martin, of course. Now, he's amazing on Jet and Raze, but I've not seen him play a lot of Phoenix. Of course, Haven is one of those maps where even if you use a Phoenix, it's not completely unviable. You can still get value out of it if he manages to get those ult ops every single time. So let's see how much can they really set up Marcel for success.
MLT Esports, they're already starting to crawl up. you can see 3 players available on the A side. They've pushed up quite deep, making 4 actually, and all the 4 might just be caught off guard. Right here, 2 were found beside Bell, but now they will also get their hands on the Spectre. That was going to be the answer instead. But doing so, Jay's squeezed up in the corner. He will be taken down easily. Fox is able to find the first opening. First man being taken away. DC rules from the back line, provides the cover fire. Now we're down to a 2-on-2. Rossi's got the Vandal in the hand, but he needs to make sure it's not being given away, because already you guys have lost a decent amount of guns, and now we cannot afford to lose any more guns anymore.
Oh, the spike is in such a precarious spot.
On my mark. One enemy
Blaze
remaining.
actually bamboozled MLT Esports. They thought that somebody would have crossed it, but that wasn't the case. The crosshair positioning was thrown all off. And Lethal Esports are actually making this Phoenix work quite well. I thought the lack of a breach might make them slightly weaker, but yeah, as long as you can use these weird blaze walls, it can just work out for you. You can throw your opponent off guard enough.
I mean, Phoenix has been one of those old picks, if you remember, even inside VCC, right? Used to see Amaterasu with Phoenix a lot of those times.
But that was in 2021, dude. That was like
Yeah,
2 years ago.
Listen, man, you're talking about this. I mean, this is a team that consists of the old dogs, right? So here we go, an old composition, right? And as they say, old is gold. Let's see if this gold is going to turn out to be quite precious or not.
No, he gets tagged too? So Fox was basically destined to lose this fight. Not only were their opponents behind and ahead of him, they could see him through all those cloud bursts. Quick B take for Lethal Esports. And now Marzel can be a pest. The Molotov does so much damage onto JE, and the curvature of the flash is actually very, very difficult to deal with. Look at this. Always gets the flash off. Wins the duel against JE, but Tricky has already dashed inside, so he can at least trade it back. DC rules. Crucial for him to make his presence known towards Cross. This should put some pressure towards the bottom of mid, but now that the smoke is in place, they can actually stick the defuse. Never mind. Lucia goes through with the spam. Tricky has already a foot inside the grave. He needs to bait Shivy outside, and Shivy's not gonna lose these.
He indeed doesn't. A big round, actually, from Lethal Esports. They got rid of all the guns from the opponents, and now Lethal Esports are going to have another round comfortably in their hands. This Phoenix is really proven out to be quite a problem maker. This double duelist composition is quite interesting. You haven't really seen this composition being played inside the map of Haven for a long time now, but Lethal Esports did decide to pull it out. And so far, it's working out wonders from them. The Phoenix flashes are really causing a lot of issues.
Yeah, and it's not just the flashes, it's also the positioning from which Marzel is playing. It's just like these really in-your-face, up-close positions. Oh, look at that. 3 players spotted. Calls the rotation for middle already. So many stacked onto the C side. They've completely left A open. Nanoswarms and Paranoia also used up by Kakarot and DC Rules respectively to hopefully keep Lethal Esports at bay. And they did that. They've done that, and now Lethal Esports are falling back. Time for Metal to adjust again.
And one thing I've noticed is that Tricky, he does have the Blade Storm available, and he's used both of his cloud bursts. So early off, he was playing all the way on the A side. Don't exactly know how he used those cloud bursts, but they can be proven quite viable sometimes in scenarios where you really want to keep yourself alive. But Tricky was able to find a really clean shot onto his opponent, and is able to keep his team's lifeline going. But just off of this Blade Storm, these guys are playing out cool. The Sheriffs are just trying to connect those shots. One shot being missed, and decent roll will be compromised and capitalized upon. Lethal Esports, they move freely all the way towards the C site. They've got the spike control, but converting this round sounds really tough.
Yeah, they will really need to make things work. He gives the spike over to Cybel, which is great because now he's going to have the lockdown available.
Oh my god, but I still feel like they've wasted a little bit too much time at planning the spike, and it has helped MLT Esports to creep up quite deep. If the spike went down well, I mean, what was that shot, Lucia? I mean, it's a complete lucky moment, but still, it's going to give them such a huge edge. 3 players taking care of Lucia, from Lucia all by himself, and it's going to give them such a huge advantage. And now they're playing off of each other. No one's going to expect Lucia to be there inside garage, and Jay's only got 4 bullets in the magazine. Lucia teleports all the way towards pocket, peeks out, And the last man being shut down as well. Indeed, a moment where you should have your hands on forehead. Lucia, a complete lucky moment, just favoring him and getting those 4 kills in the hands.
Yeah, that first kill onto Tricky was expected, but the miraculous connection onto Kakarot, and as soon as the smoke clears, even Fox is taken off. That is what changed the entire game. It gave him enough points to not only get the ultimate online, but then some more. Quick TP towards C-Long and an easy clutch for Lethal Esports to keep this hope alive. Metal, after finally losing so many rounds, have been able to gather enough money to muster up an off onto Tricky. But it's a glass cannon, so he needs to be careful.
Good shot. And this is exactly what Phoenix is known for, that running back on the point. I love the flashes from Marzel as well. They're just really good. Sometimes using the curveball exactly on the side where you're supposed to is not the way to go. Sometimes you need to use it on the opposite side to make sure you're getting the maximum amount of value with the Phoenix curveball. And a lot of new strategies have been figured out with Phoenix. There's like an entire new guides about Phoenix Valorant if you guys do want to research about it. But for now, it's a 3-on-3 scenario in which Tricky was able to find out the equalizer with the operator and shut down Rossi, who was trying to overextend a bit too much. Marcel could have caught the player off guard, but Tricky's going to get rid of him.
Revealing area.
Counter-util by Fox, now really paying off dividends. JE though, can't really make his way inside, and Metal Esports finally overwhelmed Lethal. It came down to the wire. They really needed to use all of that breach util to get their players into position. Plus the fact that Marzel really just wanted to fight. He was adamant in picking up that battle. It does help their cause a little bit.
Marzel should have felt back, should have played a little bit more disciplined, or maybe if he really just does want to take that fight, then just barrel stuff their opponents. Like, he's respected to them too much, I guess, to an extent where they got a chance to get themselves together and pretty much shut down Marzel. But in that scenario, Marzel, if he really wants to aggress, just barrel stuff your opponents, considering you know he has an operator. And up close and personal, it's tough to make an operator active.
Yeah. This time. Cheaper weapons in the hands of Metal. They did win the round, but that was too steep of a cost to pay for it. And that's why they relegated themselves down to Guardians, Bulldogs, and Spectres, whatnot. Lethal though can continue posting their guns up. Idol can make his Spectre up close. I don't know, baited out from Metal Esports, so it's just great. And they've got the openings now. Rossi is just on fire.
And once again, he's going to start to overextend all the way towards the defender spot. Look at this man! Lethal Esports are catching every single player off guard. Tricky expects that extension, and he shuts down Rossi, but he's done his job as a duelist. 3 players found, and now it's a 2-on-4. Really tough to pull off. Really tough to pull off. And Marzel will get another man in the coffin. Recon drone utilized to spot out Tricky. He will be spotted out. And Tricky's position known. Tricky should know that there is a man wrapping up from the back lines. And Marzel will seal the deal inside this round as well. A complete unexpected affair. And I think so. Metal Esports, they need to start bringing something aggressive to the table, man. Send Tricky on the operator in an aggressive angle. If he's not able to find out value, at least he will find out information.
Yeah, but what are you going to do with that information when Lethal Esports want to run you over? These guys are just simply not letting go of the W button. Like, Rossi did his job when he pushed in towards Garage and got those 2 kills. He had no reason to push in towards this, the C-Link region and get that 3rd frag, but did that stop him? Absolutely not.
I like how Lethal Esports are really playing this, right?
Yeah.
They're just not respecting their opponent at all. It's complete disrespect. Once again, Seaside take is just done so well and successfully. Rolling Thunder being used as well to try and counter their opponents. Tricky pushes up, and Lethal Esports once again they're able to get rid of this man. And it's a team ace and a flawless round 2. No one died from Lethal Esports. They're pulling these rounds off so well, and Metal Esports, this is one of the problems. If you're going to push against Metal Esports and not give them enough time to think, this team will crack under the pressure because this team needs time to read you down. And we might just see a tactical timeout now. And yes, it's desperately needed as well because you guys are getting ran through by Lethal Esports. It's not one of the most proudest moments of your career.
Yeah, dude. You did mention that they need to start playing a little more aggressively, which is what Tricky did now. He tried playing aggro towards grass, but was instantly countered with a reverse push from C Long instead. And as soon as Lethal were able to get that site under control, they just obliterated Metal. They're using the C site like their bread and butter. They're attacking it a bit too often. I think they've recognized a weakness of some sorts. And it's not even like their pattern of attacking is the same, right? Sometimes they just rush down C Long like they did several other times, but except this time, Marzel even used his Blaze Wall to cut off the garage entrance. Sometimes they don't do that. Sometimes they have Rossi move in via garage, and then he takes double door control, after which he stops and waits for his teammates to make contact via C Long. Sometimes instead of joining them, he climbs up garage window and tries to backstab them. So all these variations that Lethal Esports are throwing towards the C side keep Metal Esports humble.
And I guess this time Lethal Esports, they've sort of changed their pathing. Phoenix Flash, oh, this is just way too deadly. Tricky is in the pocket. The Molotov's gonna be there to force the man out. A huge problem from Metal Esports. They should not have pushed out like that, especially when you know the opponent has a Phoenix, and Phoenix's flashing capabilities are incredible. And that's why Tricky gets caught off guard. Perfectly played from Lethal Esports, man. That aggression being completely shut down, and now Metal Esports once again just fall on top of their faces. It's left down to Kakarot and DC Rules. These guys are getting ran over by Lethal Esports.
I'm not completely against the aggression that Metal had this round, but they need to complement it with utility. I mean, at this point, they basically just peeked out dry. You had Tricky walking up there. You had Fox to cover him, but Fox never used any of his util. And he too was flashed by Marzel, so he couldn't have done much in that position either. Both of them died, and that's an instant turnaround for Lethal Esports. They even used that pace to take A control quickly because they realized that Fox always plays towards a link, you know, so in case somebody tries to push up short, Fox is going to be the one to shut them down. And now look at Shivy. He's gone all the way around, and he's trying to make sure that DC Rules can't save. I mean, Lethal Esports are winning these rounds, not just in a chain, but they're also keeping 4 or 5 of their players alive every single time, which means their economy is thriving. At the same time, they want to crush the economy of Metal Esports. And once again, Metal are on an eco. This is not the Lethal Esports I recognize, man. And I'm glad that they're stepping it up. I'm glad that they finally show us some signs of life. Otherwise, this would have been a team that was completely dead in the water in this entire tournament, and you don't want to go out like that. Early contacts for Metal. Flashes force DC Rules back, but look at the positioning of Tricky. He's already towards the bottom of mid. Even if he goes for a flank, there's way too much to cover him, you know? There's a turret towards grass, there's an alarm bot on the link, and
Yeah.
if that's not enough, Cybel's holding T-spawn, so there's no point of Metal to push in even deeper.
I like the thought process from Lethal, considering how Metal Esports have been playing passive, respecting their opponents. We saw some signs of aggression in the past rounds, and that's why now Lethal Esports, they were holding all the way from the back. And once again, they're just able to find these openings. But at least the trade out's there from JE. With the Sheriff in the hand, of course, having the man advantage, or the guns advantage, I'd like to say, in the hands of Lethal Esports. So this round, it's highly winnable for them.
Oh, it is.
My ult is ready.
Jay hits a nice shot, but what are you going to do with it? The A side is completely under the control of Lethal. Denies the plant for a bit, but Shivy gets the kill onto DC Rules, and now things get evened out. They know exactly where JE was. Fox has been accounted for. All they need to figure out is where's Kakarot, and then the round's over.
Kakarot pushing up deep. This time all... Ooh, that's a great shot to open things up. But Rossi will shut him down once again. Good round from Lethal Esports. 8-1 to the scoreline. These guys are doing a fantastic job keeping their opponents deactivated. And this momentum they've got built up, Metal Esports, they're not finding any cure. Lethal, they're always having these surprise, astonishing moments where Lethal Esports, they're just able to catch Metal Esports off guard. And I'm loving the way this entire game's going so far.
Me too. This is the Lethal Esports we always wanted to see, but we're somehow lacking. If only they showcased this kind of a performance earlier in this tournament, they probably still would have had a chance.
Take flight.
Our drone. The spot at the mid-aggression, but this time they're not really overextending. If Marzil was there towards window, maybe the overextension would have been seen. One player was softened up, it's Cybel, and now they've regained the mid control back in their hands. Marzil will push up mid deep. The angles are being cleared out through nano swarms. Now Marzil knows there's no one close left. Pushed up right outside B main. Is waiting for any sort of extensions and openings. But so far, Metal Esports, they're playing this one quite disciplined. For Lethal Esports to find the opening, this round has to be the toughest so far.
Oh, interesting wall. Cuts off the access towards A-Link. It forces Metal Esports to gear up towards B, where that actually isn't really the case where they're coming. At least Metal know for a fact that C is been deliberately left open. And Metal have A lobby control, so Lethal can't go back there. If the C hit is to come into fruition, then they will have to go through a very aware Metal Esports. And yeah, now that Metal have the information, it becomes much harder to go through, doesn't it?
I like what Marzil did there, and it's one of those OG strats, right? In another FPS game where you throw the molly and you push your own Molotov and catch the player off guard, the opponent off guard. But unfortunately, it didn't really work inside this round. But hey, a clean round from Metal Esports. It's something that they really needed in their hand too. Finally, this might just be the momentum breaker Metal Esports were really looking for, considering they were getting completely one-sided by Lethal Esports. This might just be a huge sigh of relief for them. And every single viewer that's sitting in the venue, even they're quite pumped up, considering they've realized Metal Esports, they're finally able to get some sort of a momentum breaker in their hands. 8-2 is the scoreline, and Lethal Esports, if the upcoming rounds once again won by them, then it can, of course, be the momentum maker for Lethal. But this operator in the hands of Tricky, he's sort of expecting a seaside take. And I like the thinking that Metal Esports are really bringing to the board. They've sort of got to know what Lethal Esports are trying to bring on the table. Cloudburst being used from Tricky, and now will also start to reposition himself. Will all fall back all the way, respect the opponents, let them have the side control. Rossi over extension being cut off this time. The punishments there on the point, but Metal Esports' straights are way stronger.
Yeah, Metal Esports get the man advantage, but at the cost of C's sight. Marzil now looks to neutralize this advantage. That's exactly why they're pushing in towards Garage. This is not the post-plant positions that most attackers are used to holding. DC Rules, even though he was surprised to see Marzil over there, he wins the duel. Now Lethal are cut off. Trading potential available. Crossfire exists between Chibi and Lucia, and they're making it work.
Oh my
they're
God.
making these Vandals sink. And Jay gets blinded. Odd stacked against him. Chibi ready to strike, playing off of Lucia's contact. And none of them are willing to beat Jay. He somehow isolates the duel. Plenty of time available, but Lucia is simply not going to peek this guy.
Yeah. Well played from Lethal Esports. Only 2 bullets in the hand of Jay, and he's not even going to be able to save that gun. And as I said, if Lethal Esports are able to win another round in their hands, this will be the momentum maker once again for them. Metal Esports, they're realizing what Lethal Esports are trying to bring to the table. They're able to get the reach possibly done, but somehow the side controls and the trades, even they are there in the hands of Metal. But somehow these rounds are just slipping away because of these type of moments where they're sort of overextending through the smokes and losing the entire advantage.
Nine, 3 on the
Revealing
cards.
area.
Possibly. That is if
Oh
Metal
my
managed to
God.
make this work, but Rossi is untamed, man.
Down A.
And now he's trying to fight where Lucia would have teleported too, but Kakarot is just
Last
unnerved,
player.
man. It's really funny how he's able to make that kind of a TP play work. A rare moment that Metal are able to get around under the back, but Marzil might just change things.
Alright, this man is just feeling himself. He is feeling himself! Marzil, what a clutch!
1v3, dude! Impressive!
Oh, Rossi managed to take out the first two, found the opening for his team, and then Marshall just pulls off that play. So impressive. Lethal Esports, just off of heroics, they're able to destroy the entire tactical nature that Metal Esports are bringing to the board. And this aggression from Lethal Esports is just destroying, is shattering Metal Esports into pieces. What an incredible play, but still, that teleport play from Metal Esports as well was quite funny. Kakarot being able to pull that off is like, what are the odds? But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to push to a short break. Don't go anywhere. There's a lot to talk about. We'll be back.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, into the second half. Of the first half completely is one-sided in the favor of Lethal Esports. It's a 10-2 half, but is the comeback possible? We've seen that happen a lot of the times in the VCT, or a 10-2 half. We have seen the comeback, so maybe there is a comeback story for Metal Esports. A lot of ifs and buts, and this pistol round is desperately needed for Metal Esports if they do want to establish a comeback. It's all going to come down to this pistol round.
Yeah, the ever important pistol round. It's either this or map number 3. Heroics of Rossi and Marzel secured the round for Lethal Esports. Recon not broken, but at least they're able to get away from trouble. Now Lethal can safely regroup and play for this retake. They've also got a double backstab coming. My goodness, Marzel is relentless. Uses the flash and just dashes in like a madman.
Wow. But at least Metal Esports, they got 3 kills for themselves, and that means the comeback's on, baby. If they do win this pistol round, I guess. But if they keep on losing out these duels like this, then Shiv is definitely man and capable to pull off some incredible inhuman plays. And this time he's playing with the opponent's mind. He gave away footsteps towards Garage, and now he was trying to back out all the way towards the defender spawn, but eventually he gets taken down because he gives out a lot of footsteps once again. But Lethal Esports not able to win that pistol round. Metal Esports have another chance, and there are quite a lot of chance even in the observers that are inside the venues. These guys are sitting over there cheering their team. But do let us know what team you guys are rooting for as well.
I don't know if I'm rooting for them or not, but I have to give Marzel this Move Fearless title. The way he flashed out and just run and gun with the frenzy. It's so funny to look at, but he still is able to get kills.
I mean, that's what frenzy's supposed to do, man, in the pistol round. In close to mid-range, that gun is an absolute beast in pistol. Pin drop silence.
It's quite weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
feels
very
kinda
weird to see Lethal not make noise, not play aggressively. At least they're stacking up towards the C side, which is the right call. This is exactly where Metal are headed. And Metal are playing slowly because they want to avoid walking into a trap, but then comes Tricky. Those are surely eco frags, but they definitely look impressive regardless.
Yep. Just tapping on the head for the Phantom. And Seaside take easily in your hands. Last 2 players to go. It's Shivy and Rossi. Rossi with Marshall has been quite impactful, especially if you remember that clip on the map of Pearl in Lethal Esports. The aim is right on the head, and he manages to connect the shot as well. It was so perfectly right in between, but I think so he connected onto the neck. If it was a headshot, it should have been a confirmed kill. But JE was able to find out Rossi. A good shot even from him to open things up. And once again, Shivy's now going to take over the Marshall in his hands. All they want to do, not win the round, instead just go for some damaging plays. But it's a flawless round for Metal Esports, helping them continue the bonus round ahead as well. But this bonus round is going to be really important for Metal Esports.
Yeah, Metal can't afford to lose all their momentum. And they did make some hefty investments in this round, didn't they? They had the Vandal on DC Rules, Phantom on Tricky. So they went in for the big guns right off the bat. Those beacons were also brought in case Lethal had a force buy of their own, but
Caution here.
now they definitely know Lethal will have big guns. Let's see if Lethal can actually pull off this round. If Metal win this, Lethal will be forced on an eco again, which can let Metal get up to 6.
Look at them. I like that even Metal Esports, they're not backing away from these head-on-head fights, man. They're like, okay, if you want to go for the head-on-head collisions, hell yeah, I'm down to go for the end fight as well. Let's see who comes out on top. It's just a straight-up 1v1 duel, and if you're not able to find the kills, just fall back and try to play a little bit more safe. But nice shot from Tricky to open the fray up, and the Phantom this time is going to connect some heads. Marcel, though, is ready with the flash, a quick pop flash, and that doesn't find the kill, but Fox does find the spam. That was a really good cloud burst. Being able to think on the feet, Tricky, with that cloud burst, was pretty much able to deactivate Marcel single-handedly, because Marcel had no visual of his opponents whatsoever.
Yeah, and now that curveball kind of acts against him, so indeed quick thinking from Tricky. And now that Metal have a kill on every part of the map, they can do whatever they please. Go wherever they want. Jay is still holding the flank. He's still making sure that Lethal Esports stay stationed towards the A site. Buying more space for his teammates, buying more time for the spike to detonate. But Lethal are okay with saving.
I mean, Lethal, they've got a lot of rounds to give away. They're completely fine with the save. But for Metal Esports to pull off this bonus round, we talked about this, how important it's going to be.
Yeah.
Kakarot being able to push up front. Still trying to get something in his hands. Interesting.
You know he wants a gun.
Stuff. Oh, yeah, he definitely does. He wants it. He's on the hunt. And considering it's a bonus round, it's not going to hurt him at all, even if Kakarot does die over here, because they have enough amount of economy to go for guns.
Okay. No problem, bro. No problem. Hey, 2 weapons saved on either side, so I guess that kind of evens things out for Metal, but Lethal, again, staring down the brutal end of an eco. They're not in danger yet. The alarm bells, they're not tolling just yet, but 2 more rounds like these, and Metal Esports will have broken the economy of Lethal again, and that's when you start to panic.
Oh, wait. So, the Bando's been passed on over to Marcel, and Marcel, all he needs is 1 more orb for the ultimate. So I guess the play is going to be off of Marcel's ultimate for Lethal Esports. It has to be.
Yeah,
because
but
before, Bando was in the hands of Shivy, and then instantly he passed it on over to Marcel.
yeah, but where's he gonna get this orb? The C orb's already gone. They can probably make an attempt for the A orb, but Marcel isn't present over there at all. Oh, I think I know what the play over here is. So, in case Metal hits C, Cybel's gonna reveal himself first. They focus on Cybel, and that's when the crossfire between Marcel and Lucia obliterates them.
A lot of speculations, but nothing can be said confirmed yet.
Oh yeah, that's true. Next thing you know, that Metal don't go here at all, and Lethal
Enemy tag.
willingly offer them the fights. They shouldn't normally do that, but the drone at least clears out Garage, so now Metal Esports are starting to plant that seed of doubt in the minds of Lethal.
Speak about planting that seed of the doubt, and look at Marcel, an absolute maniac play, managed to find 2, and that's a huge one. And now we're balled down to a 3-on-3 scenario. Lockdown's available in the hands of DC Rules, and he's not going to go for the plant actually. Instead, they're just going to straight up dash on the site. DC Rules
Player standing.
still in the back lines, but Tricky all by himself might just take down all 3 of them.
Wow. Hero plays on either side. Marcel made it look possible, and that was impressive. A double kill for him was necessary to keep Lethal afloat. Especially when Metal Esports are just beating around the bush and not really committing. It did come up to Lethal Esports to figure out whether this gamble stack on C was the correct call or not. And Marcel definitely got value out of that push, but the moment they figured out that the tip of the spear is gone, Lethal Esports were in tatters. They knew that Marcel would only have 1 gun, so the other gun belongs to probably Rossi or someone like that. Only 2 weapons were available, so as soon as one of them was down, they could easily go for the frags. This time though, Cybel starts things off really well.
He does. Good tap with the recon drone. Operator being shut down. Oh man, this guy's got balls of steel to peek out like that.
I know,
2
right?
an operator as well. That's just mind-boggling to me. Having such confidence to peek out against an operator. Man.
Right here.
You gotta feel a little bad for DC Rules though. Cybele wasn't even in a position to kill him. If he did not get tagged by the recon, that spam kill would not have been possible. Look at where he was. Look at where DC Rules died. Marzel though, now with the run it back activated, holds nothing back. Pushing all the way deep inside, and Tricky is so afraid to peek him. But Marzel extracted value out of that ultimate, so now Lethal can chill.
Speak about chilling, and if Jay's able to hit those type of shots, then that
Wow.
will definitely be cancelled out. Tricky with the aggression's able to find one. Marzo as well with these type of aggressive plays. He was able to find the value, but once again, the RNG factor working in the hands of MLT Esports. That's classic Valorant for you guys.
Oh, but you gotta appreciate the ballsiness on Marzel. Ignored the aftershock, loaded up the curveball, and he connected the flash. Fox was blind as a bat, but I don't know, maybe it's a sonar, maybe it's a sixth sense. He still gets the frag with his eyes closed. Now Shivy, take a look at this guy. One frag and he's got the Hunter's Fury available.
Yeah.
Jay has a Hunter's Fury of his own, but he probably wants to save it for another round.
Wow. Lets himself get scanned up too. I mean, if Shivy does pull this clutch off, it will be quite an impressive clutch. But it looks really tough to pull off as well, considering the opponents are not really going to peek out into crosshair. Finally, they do, and it's a double peek. Unfortunately, they are going to be taken down. Oh my God! Wait, is
Wow, that is some
my
massive
God.
slander.
Oh my God! That's gonna hurt if you're Lethal Esports.
She really holds nothing back, does she?
Yeah, damn. She just woke up and chose violence today.
She's bringing age into this. Like, I don't know, dude.
Not age. She was bringing up the entire veteran thing in there.
Everything, dude.
She brought up the whole
Yeah.
career. She just chose violence today. God damn.
I mean, the youngsters are supposed to have better reflexes and everything, and the veterans are supposed to have more game sense and whatnot, but at this point in South Asian Valorant, you're seeing this mix where everybody has everything.
I'm not really gonna focus much on that, but
Yeah, let's just get the age
Yeah,
factor out of the
let's-
equation. I don't know why she even led us down that path. She was supposed to slander her opponents, but she got into our heads instead. Anyway, moving on. What on earth is happening in the camp of Lethal Esports? A 10-2 dominant first half, and now they don't have a single round in a second one.
this is actually really just mind-boggling, right? Not even having a single round in their hands in the second half in the defending side. And Lethal Esports,
Right there.
they've already given away the entire lead they had. 7-10 is a close game now. They're making it look possible, and now considering they only got Sheriffs in the hand, it's tough to connect those headshots all the time with the Sheriff too, so you might as well count this round in as well in the hands of MLT Esports, because they're able to find these type of sneaky openings. And Marzel, is he actually going to flash out with the Sheriff?
He can. This drone has a habit of checking this spot, so Marzel's taking a big risk by staying over there. But then again, it's a Nika, so he can afford to take these risks. Metal can't afford to take these risks. That's why you see them being so cautious. They play towards the bottom of garage, play near grass, and sure, they try to get a couple of kills on the back of it, but they're not fully committing to a site until they're absolutely sure it's unguarded.
Sheriff in the hands of
Spike
Shubi,
planted.
and he's walking up. He's got the Hunter's Fury available too, but he's
won't
not
use it
used it
now.
yet. Yeah, I mean, as you said, he
player
won't use it.
standing.
It's understandable. It's just an eco round. I guess they want to use the ultimates to secure one round confirmed in their hands. And MLT Esports, they're not overextending at all. They're just playing off of the crossfires. They're playing off the post plants. Disciplined as ever.
8th round on board, and now things start to get problematic. Lethal absolutely need to win this round. If they do not, their economy will be broken yet again. And at that point, you're not looking at 10-9, you're looking at 10-all. If Metal pull this comeback off, it would be the most impressive comeback we've seen so far. And Lethal had a little glimmer of hope. They thought that they could pick up a map in this tournament, but now that seems very, very skeptical. Massive ultimates available on Metal Esports too. The Rolling Thunder, Hunter's Fury, Lockdown, all of it in play. But I guess neither of these Killjoys will use the Lockdown now, because both the Sovas have Hunter's Furies, you know. And now we enter that awkward flirtation phase where it just becomes a battle of who uses the Lockdown first. Because the chain reactions are guaranteed the moment that first Lockdown goes up.
Ten to 8, and lead's already been closed away. Rolling Thunder used to make the side presence known. They've got the side control once again in the hand. Tricky just sliding in the site. And Lethal Esports this time trying to bring some resistance on the board for Metal Esports. They're just going to suppress that resistance once again with 2 of their own kills. Shiri was able to find the opening with the entire Hunter's Fury, but the lockdown was placed in the perfect timing. That's going to buy a little bit more time in the hands of Lethal Esports. But DC Rules is able to find some type of contact against Rossi. This might just be something, but he denies that completely. Operator strikes, but it's not going to matter, I guess, because Lethal Esports, they could have fell down prey to their opponents, but no's going to be the answer. Now we're down to a one-on-one scenario in which Lucia is way too low.
Whoa!
Lucia connects that shot. A 4 HP clutch from Lethal.
And the shock on their
Mouth
faces.
open. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's a jaw-dropping clutch. You gotta appreciate the cojones of Lethal Esports and their fighting spirit. It was indeed a brave decision for Shivi to focus on the kill rather than breaking the lockdown. Marzel charged in like a madman. The crossfires for Metal Esports were actually very, very potent. Tricky, on the other hand, look at the bravery of this guy to continue sticking over here even though he's low on HP. And Fox could have had that kill. The flash connected perfectly. Lucia was blind. And yet he finds it in him to connect that shot and give Lethal Esports their first round of this half. Finally, the economic curse of Lethal is broken, so they can actually mount up the map point now.
Wow.
But the way Fox is playing, he's exacting revenge for the failed clutch last time. He doubles up.
Dude, this is not even a joke. How are they able to find the A opening all the time? The entrance is there so perfectly, and Lethal Esports, they're not even able to counter that A play. It's the 3rd time back-to-back Metal Esports have pressured on the A site and managed to get the A side control in the hand without any hesitation, without any problem. And now Lethal Esports being forced back once again. B alarm bot was triggered out, so Metal Esports, they had a man who was on a hunt. And Metal Esports, they know that Lethal Esports is probably going for the save, so they have sent 2 players on the front lines to try and hunt him down, because now Metal Esports, they're chilling when it comes to the economy.
Yeah, Metal Esports have at least broken that curse, you know, and the fact that they can keep a lot of their players alive means they don't have to reinvest. Even if they lose a couple of rounds, which I hope they don't, they can at least make sure that their economy stays really secure. But Lethal need to start worrying now. It was very difficult for them to get out of the economic trench, but with this round loss, they find themselves right back in the guts. Smack in the center of the belly of the beast. And it's difficult to tear your way out of there, especially when you don't have the firepower, when you don't have the weapons.
Grips another eco, man. I'm really worried now. That
yeah,
means
same.
10 rounds, double digits for Metal Esports if they do get this round in the hand. And for them to get this round in the hand, it's not going to be that tough. Wow.
Oh, look at the gamble for Lethal. They have no choice but to roll the dice and hope that it lands on 2 6s face first.
Yeah.
3 ultimates available, but are they going to use them in this round at all? And Metal are being as cautious as ever. They have never pushed out when Lethal's on an eco. They have never tried to take a risk when Lethal doesn't have weaponry. They know for a fact Lethal are the kind of team that will go for these gamble stacks, and they want to avoid them at all costs.
I mean, Metal's been pushing up on the A side for the last 3 rounds, and they've been able to pull off successfully. So it makes a lot of sense why Lethal Esports thought that it's going to be an A execute once again, and that's why they decided to stack the A site. But Metal Esports instead, this time, they route all the way towards the C site. Even if they did find the opening on the A, it's not going to matter because they're sort of expecting a gamble stack on the A, and that's what exactly happened. Lethal Esports once again getting outread.
Spike planted.
And now the danger bells start to ring.
Found placing swarm grenade.
I mean, even
Swarm
if
grenade out.
Lethal managed to get a lot of kills in this round, even if they manage to damage the Metal economy, it's still not gonna matter. Metal have almost max credits. So money is no factor for Metal, but it is the biggest deterrent of Lethal Esports' success. And sure, the classics can bring up some damage, sure they can crack some domes, get some dinks. It's not gonna make any difference whatsoever. This is it. This is the final stand. Lethal must make their stand here and now, or succumb to the tyranny of Metal Esports. Succumb in this entire group stage without picking up a map.
Metal Esports, as expected, they get another round of the board for themselves. But this time, now we're seeing that operator being pulled out once again from Rossi. But will he be hitting the shot? That's the question. Last time he pulled out the operator, he missed. But this time, it's not going to be the same case. Instead, he manages to find the opening. And that's a big opening too, but Fox on the opposite side is straight up peeks out against the operator. Rolling Thunder being used as well, and now the players are being forced to on the back side, on the back pedal. Perfectly done. C-side once again taken easily in the hands. But Lethal Esports, they're going to go ahead and plant this lockdown.
Yeah, but there's plenty of space available towards the back of site, so Tricky can stay over there. They can even take control of C-Long, and Marzel's already used up his run it back, so that was the biggest weapon in the arsenal of Lethal. And now that it's gone, they have to go up against Tricky and his op, and he is as tricky as ever. So elusive. A rare miss. How is he alive?
The poppy
Okay,
swing
then.
from Cybele.
One enemy remaining.
Oh. Kakarot taps on Shivy's skull. And now it's a one-on-one. Lethal Esports, they're really desperate to get this round in their hands, but Kakarot plays him like a fiddle. Another round of the board for Metal Esports. And that pop and swing was so impressive. But unfortunately, he did get the kill, but not the round.
And that just seems like the continuing story of Lethal Esports, doesn't it? Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Always get the kills, but never the round. And now they start to feel this game slip out of their hands. Fingers coated with butter as this match is going out of their grasp, and Metal Esports feel more confident by the second.
11-11. Scoreline's way too close for comfort now.
Scanning ahead.
And once again, Lethal Esports being forced on an eco. It's broken by Stingers.
Spike
And
down.
Frenzy's in their hands, but Lethal Esports, they're able to find the upper hands this time inside the duels, but no, it's going to be the answer. The Hunter Fury sort of equalizes it. Marzel able to find the opening from the back lines, and now we're down to a 2-on-2 scenario. Sort of being crunched on the site. Shivy's position uncompromised, and now the man advantage shifted over. Lethal Esports having the man advantage in the hand. This is the fight to get the map point in the hand as well.
Yeah, but now DC Rules has all the information he needs. He could have made the peak along with his teammates, which would have ended Shivy's life, but he's given another chance, and he needs to grasp it. One more kill, and he's gonna have the lockdown. But he only knew where Marzel and Shivy were. They won't reveal their positions now. Footsteps given away. Marzel needs to check the angle, and he does! Lethal Esports are in this game yet. They're still alive and kicking. Map point on the cards.
Map point on the deck, ladies and gentlemen. One more round needed for Lethal to seal the deal on this map. And one more round needed for Metal to take us to overtime. That's the Thrifty being pulled off from Lethal. Perfectly done, man. The rotations were just so quick. Lethal Esports, the capitalization inside this round, those little mind games, the positioning game was just perfect.
Exactly. And up until now, Metal have done really well to avoid these kind of stacks from Lethal. Although this wasn't really a stack, it was just a really fast rotate. But still, Metal have avoided these things like the plague up until now. The one moment where they needed to avoid it the most. This is either overtime or map number 3. This was either gonna be the biggest comeback of this entire series, or Lethal Esports going out without getting a single map on board. Metal creeping in towards Garage. Aftershock, Paranoia, everything being thrown at them, but Shivi's in a position to help out his teammates with the ultimate. Lucia still not able to do anything. Cybele blind as a bat, and the Seaside's lost. Lockdown put in for extra measure, and now that the Hunter's Fury's been used, this lockdown can be broken. Marshall making a very brave play. He was hoping to break it before it comes to fruition, but now it seems like overtime is inevitable.
It is.
Last player
That's what I
standing.
see. Oh, kept the gun away. Even the call was made. He's sitting on the left side of the garage. How can this be possible? Rossi not expecting the man there, even though the call was perfectly made. You're supposed to check that angle. And Metal Esports, they make it 12-12. A huge comeback in the second half. And ladies and gentlemen, we're being forced to in overtime.
This seemed like finally a game where Lethal Esports will come alive. A potential first win. But now Metal Esports have rendered them hopeless. Morale running low. Tension at an all-time high. And when those two forces collide, nerves will be rattled.
Timeout. And this is where Metal Esports now, they're going to have some heavy talking being done. Even Fox, it seems like he's chiming inside the conversation. It's a timeout from Metal Esports, and they don't want to extend any type of overtimes anymore. Metal Esports, they just want to seal the deal.
Metal definitely want to. It would be heartbreaking if they make such an impressive comeback and then lose it in overtime. It would be even more heartbreaking for Lethal if, after securing such a huge advantage, they go 0-4 in the series without picking up a map. It's about defending their honor at this point. Whatever strategy either side had cooked up has now been crumpled into a paper ball and tossed into the trash can. You gotta start fresh. You gotta start it. You gotta start it from scratch now. And Metal Esports, they take absolutely no risk. A glass cannon, hand it over to Tricky. Everyone else with full armor, all the util in the world.
Yep.
And Tricky has only one cloudburst and one updraft, so he better make this op count.
Tricky. He's going for this high risk, high reward scenario. And Tricky is positioned all the way in A short, but Lethal Esports, they're going for a complete new ball game. They're going all the way towards the B site. Once again, they've utilized the strategy once in the past, and they do it once again. And somehow they're able to find the opening as always. But Metal Esports, they're just way ready. They're able to find their trades perfectly on the point, and now we're down to a 3-on-3 scenario. Metal Esports, they fall back, and they sort of realize that this might just be a C take all the way over. And that's what Lethal Esports are doing as well. Look at Rossi positioning himself all the way back in the defender spawn, trying to catch someone off guard. But Metal Esports, they're a step ahead.
Yeah, and the roles changed up so quickly. The moment Metal realized that it's gonna be a B hit, they take control of grass, and now they're in position to get inside. Kakarot, a very risky teleport attempted, and Lucia's the wise Roman. This time securing his team the man advantage for sure. It's all down to DC rules. And there he is. Ultimate farmed up, odds running out, and Lethal Esports might just win one map yet.
Lethal, on attacking side, they're always there because they're so quick with the executes. But Metal Esports, on their attacking side, they've been doing pretty good as well. So this is where it'll come down to Lethal Esports if they're able to win this defending round. If Lethal are able to capitalize and read what Metal bring on the table, this can be a huge round. But so far, it seems like a quick A burst, even from the side of Metal Esports. They're taking fire to fire. And I want to see this move, how well it's going to work out. Good trading potential, good trading from the side of MLT Esports.
Yeah, one of them gets sacked by the drone and the other one decides to peek out instead. Classic bait and switch. Gives MLT the advantage they needed, but then both these teams have been phenomenal on their attacking side. Marzel looking to make a difference, looking to peek out. He's been spotted but continues to push regardless. That's the kind of bravery you need.
Lethal Esports, they fall back. I like the disciplined play they're making this time. All the three players stacked up, and that random spam through the smoke finds Fox. And now Lethal Esports, they're getting the claw back inside this round. It's a 2-on-4 scenario. Looks pretty tough to pull this clutch off. Lethal Esports, the stars are aligned, and they're gonna hammer in through. It's all down to Tricky. 1v3 scenario. Lucia in the front lines, and Shivy with the crossfire. If Tricky walks in on the A site, this is just gonna add on a little bit more to the misery, but he's got no other choice left. 30 seconds in the hand, and Lethal Esports, they clutch it out and win this map of Haven in their hands.
Lethal Esports' first map win in the VCSA. It was labored, it was difficult, and for a second it felt like they almost lost it, but they grab it with both their hands in the end. You can't call that iron grip, but you can definitely call that a sigh of relief. The smiles on Lethal Esports as they win this one would have been heartbreaking if they lost it, but MLT, they almost defeated them 2-0. This was supposed to be the end of the game. It was an impressive comeback, but like she says, close but no cigar.
Oh man, that's the first ever map Lethal Esports have won on VCSA. So congratulations, Lethal Esports, for winning that game of Haven, even though defeating your opponents on their own map pick. And now the upcoming is going to be Decider on Pearl. And I'm really excited to see what's going to be the outcome on the map of Pearl. But before we head on over towards Pearl, it's going to be a short break. Don't go anywhere.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Hit most of these, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Making dreams come true and memories happier.
I know my destiny. I know my destiny. I know my destiny. I know my destiny. I know my destiny.
Back in the map of Pearl, and with that being said, welcome our cute YouTube audience back to this entire English broadcast, where we're going to be moving on forward towards the Agent Select, and the Agent Select is going to be in front of us soon enough. It's the map of Pearl, a new fresh beginning for Lethal Esports to make a comeback inside this series, but as we all know, this matchup is more important for Metal Esports, considering this is their run towards the playoff. On the other hand, Lethal Esports, they've got no chance to make a comeback. That means you're not going to see Lethal Esports in the playoffs, even if they do win the series.
Hold on, wait, there's a Viper on Fox, but the second controller is an Astra? Okay, I guess that is versatile enough. I would have expected a Harbor Viper to work somewhat better, but I'm okay with the Astra being pulled off. Gives you more chance to gear up with the stakes as soon as we can just bombard the site with all those stars and all. So that's fine. But I'm really curious as to see why Marshall is back on the KO. He was doing so well with the Phoenix. was kind of excited to see it again, but hey, then again, I'm not the only one who's disappointed.
Comic store, guys. You guys want to buy something from the store?
I'd like a plushie.
Wait, I really want to like read those book titles. Wait, keep on zooming in, man. No,
No,
it's
no,
okay
no.
though.
The only
Observer's
thing
not
you're gonna
gonna
be reading is how these players read each other.
Okay, I mean I'm down for that. The matchup
Yeah,
is fun and
not
interesting,
bad.
and I'm pretty sure the viewers as well are going to be down for that. And so far, on the attacking side, MLT Esports are really amping up the heat out and over. It's a quick burst on the double doors, and they're routing themselves towards the B site.
B-Link taken under control, but they're not progressing into the B site yet. At the same time, Fox has to hold off this backstab. Lethal doing so well. A multitude of kills from
Player
them,
standing.
keeping this B-Link aggression in check. And all of a sudden, Jay finds himself alone in a cold and desolate world.
Speak about the cold world, and it's 1-on-2. Spike in the hands of JE, and he still doesn't want to go for the plant. This is what you call thoughts kicking in, second guessing kicking in, and MLT Esports, they might just have a round on their hands because both the players from Lethal Esports, they're out-reading themselves. The second thoughts kicking in for Lethal, and they're all the way on the A side, and the spike plant's going all the way on the B. Spike's already planted, and now it's going to be a long run, a huge marathon for Lethal, but both these players aren't going to stick to each other, so that might just be a cherry on top of the cake for JE.
Yeah, and as long as they can trade each other, it's gonna be fine. But Jay needs to he needs to make this first contact. He needs to play aggressively and neutralize it down to a 1v1. Because the
enemy
moment he
remaining.
gives them a fair fight, it will be easy for them to trade, and Marcel gets caught off guard. Lucian now knows where his nemesis is. But Jay's never gonna peek this. Inside the smoke,
Oh
he
my
gets it!
Don't even try me.
JE, a really good clutch to kick things off on the map, Pearl. 1v2, won easily. Was able to isolate these duels pretty nicely too. And I guess Lethal Esports should have expected that, man. Haven has to be an area you will need to instantly check out in these type of scenarios when you know that the spike plant's sort of open all the way to Haven and even the long side. The spike plant was definitely a 200 IQ play from JE, which made them overthink that maybe it's going to be a long plant, and JE played all the way towards Haven.
Yeah, the fact that Lethal thought they would be safe inside that nebula, it's just bonkers. I mean, at one point, all three of these players had the same thought, right? They both the defenders thought he's never gonna plant here. Let's go A. And even Jay thought that this plant is not possible here. I'm gonna try to make my way towards the A side, and then later decided against it.
It's a technical pause, ladies and gentlemen. And tech
First one of the
pauses
day.
can last forever, Crips. You know that? Either it can be sorted in a couple of seconds, or it can last forever. What do you think? How long this is going to last for?
Oh. I'm surprised you asked me to predict this and not what's the outcome of the game gonna be.
I mean,
So,
I feel like predicting the outcome of this game is just so random.
yeah, that's
It's really
that's
tough
true.
to predict what's going to happen, considering
Yeah.
Lethal Esports has just completely astonished all of us, and I'm pretty sure even the viewers too. So it's really tough to predict the outcome, and I'm not going to let you go through that torture, all right, bro? I love you.
Yeah, thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much. Speaking of bears and these action figures, yeah, you're right. They are playing a game of truth and dare over there,
Find
bottle
you.
in the middle. But the more interesting bear is the one that Velocity used as a mascot yesterday in their watch party.
Oh yeah, that was a bear buff.
Definitely a bear buff. It was happening in Hyderabad in some Buffalo Wild Wings place. Seems like a nice place.
Yeah, and apparently we missed that place where the bear, I guess, didn't give a handshake to Amaterasu yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
and
quite
Amaterasu-
rude.
Yeah, Amaterasu was sad. He was like, man, no handshake for me. Feel a little sad over here, but yeah, that was a good funny moment.
Well, let's see if the comic relief steps in once again. Lethal Esports are stacking up B. And Medal are walking right towards it. I smell a disaster.
You smell a disaster, and I smell an opportunity. And MLT Esports, they are able to claim that opportunity. B site, it's quite tough to try and regain in your hands, especially if you're going to go for peaks like that, and when you know the opponent's going to have a complete buy round in their hands, and they're instantly invested for those Vandals and Phantoms on the board, which is really helping them get this round in hand. And as long as they're not really letting go off a lot of bodies, it's completely good and well done from MLT Esports. Only one body dropped. It's affordable. MLT Esports, a really fantastic round.
Yeah, and they have such a huge variety of weapons. You've got the Vandals, Phantoms, Bulldogs, everything. I mean, every single weapon available in the menu, they probably just used it. And that's good. You need the Phantom and the Vandal to take fights at range, take fights against the Marshals that Lethal Esports will pull up, and then the Stingers and the Spectres can take care of the rest. And now that Lethal have a full buy, let's see what they cook up. Rossi going for half armor instead of full. I guess it's fine as long as he's facing Tricky or JE, but up against a Spectre, that half armor really starts to bother you. But regardless of all that, MLT Esports are playing it nice and slowly, like they often do. You saw how proactive they were on Lotus, you know, making their presence felt towards every part of the map before going into the commitment. Yeah, that's the exact same game plan right here.
Seekers, aka cabbages, were being pulled out. I thought you might see them being used to find out some sort of a presence, but still the patience is being shown with that ult. And eventually, now it's finally used. They're going to move off of the cabbages, of course, slowly and steadily moving up to the front. A side, there's only one player so far, and it's going to be Killjoy. Her entire setup is lying on the entire site, but all of the setup is being gotten rid of. The turret's not there. The nano swarms as well are not going to be on the board anymore. And Cybel is now left all by himself to take those individual duels. But Lethal Esports, the way they're bouncing back, it's looking quite strong and performing. And so far, they're able to deliver on the notes as well. This is the buy round for Lethal Esports, so it's going to be quite a crucial one as well. And so far, they're able to win out these duels pretty well.
MLT Esports finally facing the brunt of the superior weaponry that Lethal bring to the table. But it was still quite labored, you know. The crossfires from MLT Esports could have been good enough, but the timing that Lethal Esports pick up the fights at, that is incredible. And the fact that the smokes break the crossfires open, that really paves the way in for Lethal. But still, I can't help but feel that this was just a weaponry diff. You bring up the same situation once again in any other round where MLT Esports have the weapons and the utility. I think MLT Esports will come out on top.
Yeah, once again, technical pause. Seems like they haven't been able to get rid of that issue that was there from Lucia. It's still being continued, and there's some sort of a problem going on, I guess, with his computer. They're trying to get it resorted, and guys, I'm pretty sure it will be resorted as quick as possible. And usually inside the tech pauses, it's podcast tower where you guys listen to the casters talk to each other about the game sometimes and about the random stuff as well. So it's quite interesting.
You know, I just realized that out of all the casters that exist in this country, we probably do the least amount of banter. I mean, at least I do the least amount of banter. I've been told that by a friend of mine.
Serious to the
I'm
business, huh?
Serious? Yeah. I don't know. I guess I gotta
You've
let
got the
loose
teacher
every
genes
now
in
and
you,
then.
I guess.
Huh. Okay.
The teachers, you know, they're not really. There's like quite a few rare teachers who like to mess around and have a good fun, but there's usually teachers that don't really do that, you know.
If I was a teacher, I would probably be the kind that never gives homework. We have a teaching enthusiast on the Hindi desk as well that happens to be Ocean Sharma. Man has an actual teaching channel. Talks about astronomy, talks about physics, quite a lot of that stuff. So it's quite inspiring, you know.
I'm not a big fan of teaching, to be honest.
I don't think anyone is. Nobody likes learning a lot either. I mean, we entered this gaming industry because we were like, all right, we are done with the studies. No more serious stuff. We are not nerds. We are geeks. There's a difference between the two.
Ooh, that's. I mean, is there really though? I mean, sort of the same, right? But you know, our conversation got
less.
driven all the way towards the far away, I guess, off that entire teacher, nerds, and gigs thing. And well, ladies and gentlemen, there is a technical pause going on. We don't exactly know what the reason behind it is, but we will be right back as soon as the technical issue gets resolved. So don't go anywhere.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Hit multiple wins, I get it in.
फिर भी चाहूंगा आप एक बार इस कैमरे में देखिए, इंट्रोडक्शन दे दीजिए एक एक करके।
My name is Karan Maswardkar, also known as Xkali, and I'm playing for Velocity Gaming.
Hello guys, my name is Simar Sethi, also known as Sai, playing for Godlike.
साइनाथ
Playing?
Sainath, also known as Lotus.
Playing?
अच्छा मुझे नहीं पता ये जोक क्या था, मैं तो ऐसे हंस रहा था। क्या हुआ प्लेइंग क्यों मतलब?
खेल रहे क्या?
आप खेल रहे हो?
हाँ।
क्या किससे खेल रहे हो? डेथमैच खेल रहे हो?
Deathmatch player for Godlike.
तो आज एक्साइटेड अबाउट दिस थिंग यार। 7 दिन का लीग हो रहा है।
Definitely, बहुत बढ़िया चीज़ है।
आपको तो खेलने को नहीं मिल रहा, आप क्या कर रहे हो?
देखने को तो मिल रहा है एटलीस्ट।
बट आप बताइए आपकी क्या था?
मतलब ऑफ कोर्स एक्साइटिंग तो थे, मतलब वापस लैन, क्योंकि बहुत टाइम से लैन हुआ नहीं था। ये वाला लैन है जिधर सब टीम्स वापस रिस्ट्रक्चर हुए, मतलब नए प्लेयर्स, नए इंपोर्ट्स। तो मतलब कोई ऐसा विनर नहीं है जो मतलब 100% जीतने यही जीतने वाला है। मतलब एवरीवन हैज इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी टू विन द इवेंट एंड वही मजा आने वाला है। मतलब
तो नो डाउट यहाँ पे एक्सपोजर जो प्लेटफॉर्म राइट ने दिया है, इट्स इनक्रेडिबल।
ऑफ कोर्स
मैं तो सबसे ज़्यादा राइट को थैंक यू बोलना चाहता हूँ, क्योंकि इससे पहले जो हम गेम खेलते थे जिसमें मैं और काली कम्पीट करते थे साथ में, आज तक उस गेम के अंदर हम लोग इंडिया डोमिनेट करते आए हैं, सब कुछ कर लिया हमने, बट कभी भी एक डेवलपर ने इतना साथ नहीं दिया हमारा,
इतना एक्सपोजर कभी ऐसा मिला नहीं, मतलब एक गेम खेलते।
एंड अभी अगर हम राइट के बारे में बात करें, राइट जितना पार्टिसिपेट कर रहा है इंडिविजुअली खुद से साउथ एशिया रीजन को लेके, इतना मैंने आज तक किसी डेवलपर को करते नहीं देखा। एंड ये सिर्फ हमारे लिए नहीं, हमारे इंडियन इकोसिस्टम के लिए भी बहुत चीज़ है, क्योंकि ये हमें काफ़ी ज़्यादा बूस्ट देगा।
तो अब आते थोड़ा मसाला पे, बस हो गया यार, जितना भी अच्छी बातें थी हट गई। एक टाइम पे पूरा देश तुम दोनों के बारे में बात कर रहा था। मैं एक एक करके अपना तुम्हारा टेक जानना चाहता हूँ। काली
कैसे समझाऊं, मतलब आई वाज ऑलमोस्ट हियर पूरा क्विट करने तक, बट समहाउ मतलब मैंने भी सोचा मतलब क्या होगा, वो लोग सिर्फ बोल रहे क्या, मतलब कुछ अफेक्ट हो रहा है मेरे को, मे बी थोड़े हद तक होता रहेगा अफेक्ट, बट 2 महीने गए, 3 महीने गए, 4 महीने गए, जिसके भी स्ट्रीम में जा रहा हूँ गालियाँ बढ़ रही है, सांप के इमोजीज आ रहे हैं, उन सभी टूर्नामेंट मैचेस में जा रहा हूँ उधर सांप आ रहे हैं, VLT सामुराई एक्सकैली सांप। 4-5 महीने के बाद मैंने सोच लिया कि मतलब जो बोल रहे हैं उससे मेरे को अफेक्ट होना नहीं चाहिए। इनफैक्ट जो बोल रहे हैं मैं एज अ फन लेता हूँ, मतलब मैं अपने आप को ट्रोल करता हूँ। सबसे एकदम क्रिएटिव जो कमेंट्स होते थे जो मेरे को सबसे पसंद आते थे, फॉर एग्जाम्पल घाटकोपर, देयर वाज अ स्पीशीज इन घाटकोपर, किधर तो घूम गया है, कॉन्टैक्ट पुलिस और वगैरह ऐसा वैसा कुछ तो आया था, तो खुद मैंने कॉपी करके ट्विटर पे डाल दिया था। वो लोग भी चलती रहेगी कि हम लोग इसको गालियाँ दे रहे हैं बट ये खुद अपने आप को ट्रोल कर रहे हैं।
ये बहुत बड़ी बात है। पता है यूजी क्या होता है कि एक ना बड़ी जल्दी प्रोवोक हो जाते हैं। आज के ना ईगो छोटी हो गई है, एक पॉइंट नहीं होता, लोग भड़क जाते हैं। अब ये थिक स्किन बनाना कमेंडेबल। तो शायद आप एक प्रोफेशनल प्लेयर भी हैं, साथ साथ में यू कैरी अ लॉट ऑफ फैन फॉलोइंग, आपका जो सोशल हैंडल्स है। जब वो सब ड्रामा हुआ था उस पर कितना फ़र्क पड़ा था? बिकॉज जितना मुझे याद है 2-3 हज़ार से व्यूअरशिप आपकी 100-200 पे आ गई थी।
बहुत ज़्यादा इफेक्ट किया था उस टाइम पे, हद से ज़्यादा। ऑफ कोर्स ये मेरा ब्रेड एंड बटर है, इसलिए मैंने अपनी पूरी ज़िंदगी 10 साल से मैं ई स्पोर्ट्स के अंदर हूँ, मेहनत करता हुआ आया हूँ कि इस मुकाम पे आ पाऊँ। उधर मैं पहुँचा एंड वहाँ से फिर मैं ज़ुप करके नीचे गिरा इस चीज़ की वजह से। एंड मेरे करियर, मेरी ब्रांड डील्स, मेरी इमेज पे बहुत ज़्यादा फ़र्क पड़ा था। बट तब भी कुछ ब्रांड्स थे जो मुझे तब तक सपोर्ट करी थी, बिकॉज दे न्यू कि आई वॉज नॉट गिल्टी। एंड मेरे काफ़ी फैंस भी थे जो मेरे को बहुत ज़्यादा आज भी सपोर्ट करते आ रहे हैं, उस टाइम पे भी कर रहे थे, जिनको पता था कि मैं ऐसा कभी कर ही नहीं सकता। एंड आई एम वेरी ग्लैड कि मेरे पास ज़िंदगी में ऐसे कुछ लोग हैं, इसलिए मैं हमेशा आज भी खड़ा हूँ और हमेशा मेरे चेहरे पे एक स्माइल दिखती है।
तो काली, आई वांट टू नो दिस कि जब वो सीन हुआ, योर एग्जिट बड़ा कंट्रोवर्शियल था, नाउ यू आर बैक टू द सेम टीम। उस टाइम पे लोगों के भरोसे टूटे होंगे। अब जब तू उनके सामने निकलता है, बिकॉज एक बूट कैंप में नजरें मिला पाता है भाई।
आई मीन ऑब्वियसली मतलब स्टार्टिंग में जब भी हुआ था ये इंसिडेंट, तभी एक होता है ना, मतलब पहले जब भी कुछ होता है तभी लोग गुस्सा होते हैं, फिर धीरे धीरे जब भी एकदम सिचुएशन काम होता है तभी थोड़े बहुत स्टोरीज निकलते बाहर। स्टार्टिंग में कोई बात नहीं करता था मेरे से, ना ही मैं करता था, बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली वो इतना हुआ था। बट जैसे इवेंट्स खेले हम लोग, वापस मिले, वापस एक दूसरे के साथ रैंक मैचेस खेल रहे, तो जो भी हो, तो वैसे थोड़ा थोड़ा बात करना चालू किया। फिर वापस ओनर के साथ भी धीरे धीरे वापस एक ऐसा कांटेक्ट बनाना चालू किया मैंने। एक रिस्पेक्ट बोल सकते हो मेरे टीममेट्स को एंड फॉर द ऑर्गेनाइजर ऑल्सो, कि ऐसा इंसिडेंट होने के बाद भी आई एम स्टिल हियर। मेरे खुद के लिए भी आई थिंक इट्स अ कमेंडेबल जॉब। मतलब जो भी हो, खुद पे मेहनत करना है, खुद पे ध्यान देना है, खुद के गेम पे ध्यान देना है, एंड आई थिंक दैट्स व्हाट आई डिड। मतलब आफ्टर 2021 वो पूरा डाउनफॉल के बाद पूरा मेरा फोकस उस पर शिफ्ट हुआ था।
गेम से अलग हुए, गेम ने वापस जुड़ा। बोलो लो द स्टोरी। मतलब आपके तो आंसू निकल रहे हैं।
नहीं आंसू नहीं निकल।
एक कंधे पे पैट तो बनता है। सो गुरुजी
बताओ,
आपसे भी पूछ लेते हैं थोड़ा सा ऐसा। आपने मतलब अगर इंडिया में 10 टीमें हैं, तो आपने 10 की 10 में खेला मेरे साथ। आपने शुरुआत करी थी नोबल से, फिर कोई XYZ कौन सी टीम में गए थे आप? XTZ। कहाँ से थी वो? अमेरिका?
नहीं, आई थिंक इंडियन हो गई थी।
मतलब XTZ, उसके बाद सैमुराई 3 हो गई, फिर एक्सो, उसके बाद टू रिपर्स, अब
गॉडलाइक।
6 टीमें।
यस।
ये क्या चल रहा है? मतलब दिल लग रहा नहीं है, क्या हो रहा है ये? 6 टीमें।
लोग इधर
एक हाथ में भी 5 उंगलियां, तो 6 टीमें कर दी।
लोग इधर वर्ल्ड टूर कर दे, साहब अपने ऑर्ग टूर कर दे।
देखो भाई, मैं बताता हूँ, मैं थक चुका हूँ सुन के ये सवाल। आप लोग पूछ के भी थक चुकोगे, तो मैं इसका आंसर दे देता हूँ। 2 ऑग्स उठ के रातों रात भाग गई। एक ऑग में बहुत बड़ा, एक्चुअली 2 ऑग्स के अंदर आपने एक और ऑग मिस कर दी, 7 ऑग्स हो गए, सॉरी, M42 भी मिस कर दिया आपने। 2 ऑग्स के अंदर बहुत बड़ा स्कैम हुआ था। आप लोगों को आगे ज़्यादा चीज़ें नहीं आती बात, बट मैं बता रहा हूँ। बाकी ऑग्स के अंदर सब सही था जो थी, एंड वहाँ पे म्यूचुअल डिसीजन हुआ था, क्योंकि लाइनअप्स उस टाइम पे वर्क नहीं कर रहे थे। जो लाइनअप थे, जो मेरा गोल था, मेरे को जो टॉप 1 आना है,
यू डोंट लाइक, फर्क नहीं पड़ता ना, बट एंड ऑफ द डे यू वांट रिजल्ट्स।
यस, यहाँ पे लोग फुटबॉल प्लेयर्स को देख लो, 10-20 क्लब्स के लिए खेल लेते हैं, लोगों को उससे प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बट लोगों को सिर्फ एक चीज़ दिख जाती है और उनको जज करने में मजा आता है और उनको हंसने के लिए टॉपिक क्या होता है। हंसो जितना हंसा है, हंसो, फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता।
बीइंग एन एंटरटेनर क्या हुआ अगर हम तो?
इट्स लाइक मेरे को फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता है इन चीज़ों को लेकर। ये सब चीज़ें मेरे लिए बहुत नॉर्मल है। अगर मेरा गोल है, मेरे को नंबर बनाना है, मैं उसके लिए कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ, किसी हद तक जा सकता हूँ।
पीपल वांटेड, हमने एक पोल कराया था कि एक साली से कोई सवाल पूछना है, तो सबने पूछा कि एक साली से पूछो उसका फेवरेट एनिमल कौन सा है। तो आप बता दो।
स्नेक।
क्या बात कर रहे हैं?
ऑफ कोर्स।
सही में?
यस।
अरे हमारे ई-स्पोर्ट्स में तो ऐसे बहुत सारे हैं।
ये ले, तो एक अपने गर्दन में पहन के बैठ जा बाकी इंटरव्यू में। मतलब हेटर्स को बैंग ऑन आंसर।
खाली शूट तो कर रहा है।
डीजे खालिद।
डीजे स्नेक।
आपका कौन है सिमर? फेवरेट एनिमल कौन सा? आपका भी दोनों पहन लो ना, पूछ इसको दे दे।
मुझे क्यों दे रहे हो यार? मैंने क्या किया ऐसा साफ पला?
तू कंगारू है ना, हॉपर
था। अब वो तो ला नहीं सकते, बट ठीक है।
पुरानी गेम पे तुम दोनों सेम टीम में खेले हो, नो यू गाइस डिड, अगर 100 इवेंट है तो 100 के 100 जीते तुम, बट सिमर अब लाइक यू हैव टू एक्सेप्ट दिस, नेक्स्ट काली जैसे अभी एक स्टेप आगे चल रहा है।
यस डेफिनेटली।
पहले इस पे थॉट बता।
मेरे को बिल्कुल नहीं लगता, इसलिए ऑफ कोर्स काली ने बोला उस टाइम पे जब मैं बहुत ज़्यादा लेट चालू करी थी मैंने गेम, तब तो मैं डेफिनेटली सबसे पीछे था। बट अगर अभी गेम के बारे में बात करें, मैं स्टैट्स कभी जिक्र नहीं करता, बट अगर लोगों को स्टैट्स जिक्र होता है तो स्टैट्स बोल देते हैं, या तो मेरी परफॉर्मेंस बोल सकते हैं, मेरे पिछले 2 साल के सारे मैचेस की परफॉर्मेंस एंड ऑल। उसके अंदर मेरे को अभी तक कोई मेरे आजू बाजू भी नहीं आ पाया है। बट अगेन लाइक आई सेड, आप जितना ऊपर जा रहे होते हो हमेशा प्रॉब्लम्स आती है, एंड हमेशा मेरे साथ यही हुआ है कि मैं जब भी ऊपर जा रहा होता हूँ, सडनली कोई पत्थर मारता है और नीचे गिरा देता है, और मेरे साथ बार बार यही होता हुआ आ रहा है। मैं खुद थक चुका हूँ, बट लाइक आई सेड, मैं जब तक मेरे अंदर आ गए और यहाँ काफ़ी सालों तक है, तब तक रुकूंगा नहीं।
थैंक यू सो मच एक्सकाली। हाँ, सो ये थे हमारे सिमर साई सिटी और करण एक्सकाली, बस वर्कर। सही बोला ना?
एग्जैक्टली।
नॉट इजी, आपको भी पता है। और चेहरे आएंगे इन सोफों में, इनके साथ हम खेलेंगे डेथ मैच और ढेर सारा फन होगा। तब तक के लिए आप कर लो गेमिंग थोड़ी सी।
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Hit multiple wins, I get it in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It seems like our GigaChat technician has got rid of the issues, and now we're back inside the game. Thank you so much. He is the real GigaChat for saving the day today. But now we're going to be moving on forward inside the game soon enough. As the technical issue has been resolved, the game will be resumed once again.
This does give quite a lot of time for the players to reset. Luckily, this happened quite early on in the game, you know, when no momentum can be stolen. Because let's say, if one of these teams start to dominate and then the tech pause comes through, the other team will have plenty of time to reset their mental. But now that we're still in the early days of the game, this can still go either way. MLT Esports, having won the previous round, they showed us quite a lot of resilience, especially on the defenses. And MLT Esports have shown that their rotations are really fast. So if Metal are committing, they need to do it right away. Also, another thing, Metal have been trying to focus on distracting quite a lot. They spread out across the map. They try to gather more. I wouldn't say they try to gather map control, but they do try to sell a lot of fakes. They try to make MLT Esports over-rotate. Against any other team, this will work. But MLT Esports aren't the one to move very quickly. They only move when they see more than 3 or 4 pieces of utility from different agents. That's the only time they make the commitment. So, MLT Esports, as quick as the rotations are, at least as quick as the rotations were on Haven, they never seem to overdo it, which is quite nice. That's a big problem that MLT Esports have managed to solve in the last few hours.
Yeah. But the technical issue continues once again. What's going on, Lucia? All good? Don't exactly know what the issues is, but yeah, on the map of Pearl, we've seen MLT Esports play a map of Pearl in the past as well. Once against ASTER Army, where they got 2-0'd over there, but it was quite a decently close affair. The scoreline was 13-7, where Kishi was absolutely popping off. But usually on the map of Pearl, MLT Esports, there's quite a lot of those times where they would run like headless chickens on their attacking side. So it's really up to you. And the way ASTER Army were able to counter MLT Esports is that they brought fire to fire. If you remember, Kishi and Wink were pushing out B-Long a lot of those times to counter MLT Esports on their attacking half.
Yeah, but aren't you glad that Lethal managed to solve that problem? Better to not
really
run around.
I mean,
at
Pearl,
least
we haven't even seen a lot of the rounds yet. And we haven't seen the similar amount of resistance that ASTER Army showed. We are not really seeing those aggressive and those proactive plays from MLT Esports.
Well, maybe we will see them now. Maybe that
Huge
rabbit's
maybe.
got a knife, and I'm kind of scared. Oh, look at Lethal. Very proactive towards mid right off the start.
Alarm bot out.
And I like the proactivity. I'm a huge fan of proactivity since the start. And MLT Esports on their attacking side this time as they're starting to move away. In the front.
Oh. Shots exchanged. But still, Lethal, they are hesitant to commit. Just like Metal. Metal are trying to fall back in. They're just hoping that nobody from Lethal is backstabbing them towards short, but now that the smokes have been put up, it will stall Metal for even longer. Rotations for Lethal have arrived on scene. They're only leaving Lucia to mark the mid-con and Art. There's at least some KJ util available towards B-Link, so they don't need to worry about that yet. But the suppression works, and still they are aware that Metal are present. Flashes are amazing. 30 seconds left. Metal need to get inside and block the spike. They're running out of time. They're running out of resources. But at least they're able to kill everyone that they encounter.
MLT Esports, as they do move on forward, they are definitely getting countered now. And it seems like inside this post-plan scenarios, they aren't really able to find that groove. And Metal, they clean them up easily. A nice 3K from Fox to seal the deal, and this third map is definitely off to quite an interesting outcome. I mean, MLT Esports, they're able to get at least a decent amount of start for themselves, and hopefully this booster is going to be kicked off even in the future rounds.
Yeah, but the Cosmic Divide just really stalled MLT Esports, and it was supposed to be a good one for Lethal, where they just bounce on them on the back of it, but what it also does is that after Metal are done planting the spike, the Cosmic Divide acts like a bodyguard, which allows Metal to fall back towards the top of B ramp and take their post-plant positions safely. So it kinda backfired. I mean, the idea about why Lethal Esports used it was kinda obvious. They wanted to stall MLT Esports, but Metal just ignore all that util. They go for the spike plant, and then they turn the tide using Lethal's own Cosmic Divide against them. And when that kind of stuff happens, when your own ultimate backfires against you, it is so brutal to look at.
This technical timeout is definitely quite a momentum breaker. Definitely can be a momentum breaker. Might just work out in the favor of Lethal Esports. I mean, MLT Esports so far, they were able to establish this lead, and because of this technical timeout, we've seen a lot of those times. These technical timeouts can be quite a momentum breaker. One of those big reasons is that in these type of technical timeouts, you can still talk to your teammates and try and figure out the strategy or way to counter your opponents. On the other hand, MLT Esports, they're having a good time. They're having smiles on their faces. I like the fact that even though they dropped a map against Lethal Esports, it's not really affecting their mentality that much.
Yeah, it doesn't really affect their mentality. That's kind of true. They also know that the reason they lost Haven is because of some very silly reasons and because of mistakes that can be fixed. I mean, you take a look at what Metal were doing in the previous map, and it's kind of obvious that they just let Lethal cook too much. You gave them too much respect. Lethal take those little opportunities to play super boldly, super aggressively. Marzel playing almost recklessly along with all those flashes that he used. So it kind of gives Lethal Esports a little gas, a little something that they can burn. Now, MLT Esports in this map, if they choke everything out, they don't let Lethal set up for success, and they are right back in the game.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, right? Look at every single person from MLT Esports. They've got these plushies, cute plushies on their desks. Fox has got a plushie of Fox. Tricky's got a plushie of Octopus, if I'm not wrong, and it's Kakarot who's got the plushie of a white teddy bear. Is that a teddy bear? I'm not sure what that is. But
looks like one.
Yeah, looks like one on top of the monitor. But it's interesting, right?
Yeah, everyone has these little lucky charms and something that they carry. For someone, it's a lucky shirt or a plushie or a toy or something. The only person I know who kinda overdoes this is Antidote, because he's got 4 little pieces on his desk and he carries them in every single game. One of them is a religious figure, the other one is some action figure, something that his girlfriend gave him. The other 2 are also toys, but I don't exactly remember what they were. I happened to have a conversation about this with him once.
Really?
And I was like, wow, your desk is cluttered. There's just so much on it. And he was like, yeah. He proceeded to give me the history of each and every one of those toys. I don't know. I have the memory of a goldfish, so I don't remember what each and every one of those things are. But yeah, he's the only man who overdoes this.
Really? I mean, what are your lucky charms, if you have any?
I don't really believe in all that. I guess
no. I think so. It's the same story for me. I am my lucky charm. Damn, that's a Giga Chat statement, right?
Yeah, that's a Giga Chat statement. I am the charm. I am the one who makes my own luck.
Damn.
Something straight out of Breaking Bad.
Yeah. I am the one who knocks.
Yeah.
But yeah, this time, quite an aggressive start for Lethal Esports. They've taken the B main control aggressively this time. Even though they're on the Nico, they're still not scared of anything. He's got his hands on the ARP, and I'm pretty sure Rossi will go and try to pop that Blade Storm soon enough, and that's what he exactly does. They still don't exactly know if there's any sort of presence being shown towards the double doors area or not, but MLT Esports, they're quite questionable on where they want to approach. They're slowly and steadily trying to move towards the arts area, and they will probably get the control in the hand, but they back off once again.
Yeah. And this is something that MLT Esports have always been doing, so Lethal aren't surprised. But they do find themselves a little bit of curiosity. Unfortunately, curiosity is what kills Rossi.
And Rossi, I mean, he had the Blade Storms, and the only way if Lethal Esports could have tried to convert this entire Rika round in their hand could have been that Blade Storm as well. But Rossi now being taken care of, there's no way Lethal Esports aren't going to have any chance of converting this entire Eco round in their hands, because they've only got the classics on the board. Maybe a couple of Sheriffs too. Marzul, a good slap on the face of Tricky. But one more to go, and that's the final man as well. Cybel, Sheriff in the hand. Seems pretty next to impossible to pull off this clutch with only Sheriff, but we have seen some good and valiant efforts in trying to pull these type of clutches off.
Not happening this time, at least. Maybe Cybel can hope to get some extra frags, steal a couple of weapons. You gotta keep this in mind. In Haven, Lethal Esports were struggling a lot economically. They buy one round, eco one round, buy one round, eco one round, and Lethal cannot, for the love of God, afford to fall into that same cycle, that vicious cycle again.
Spike's gonna detonate. And another clean round in the hands of MLT Esports. As expected, it was the eco round of the opponent, so they do get their hands on another round over here. But ladies and gentlemen, keep this in mind. We are trying to remind you guys over and over again, this series needs to be won by a complete one-sided affair. So far in both the maps, it was not a one-sided affair for any of these teams. But MLT Esports, if they do want to make it to playoffs, they have to make it a one-sided affair because they want to sustain that top 3 position to make it a playoffs. On the other hand, Lethal Esports, they've got no chance of making it. They've got no chance to qualify because the previous map was the first map ever they've won, and they've got a little bit too many round differences, so they cannot even try and qualify.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Do Lethal Esports roll over and let Metal take the playoff slot, or do they grief them and let Reckoning move forward? I guess Lethal Esports don't have a preference on either. They just want to defend their honor, and Marzel, he's reclaiming it with a vengeance. Double kill for this man as he decapitates 2 people.
Ooh, wait. Ooh, that was so close. He almost found the connections too. Rossi, one blade was caught onto his chest, but the second one didn't really find the connection. Tricky dashes on the site, but there's the man in the front. Unfortunately, he did not straight up dash into his own cloud burst. Instead, he dashed in the middle of the site where the opponent had a clear line of sight onto him. Lethal Esports, they're making their way slowly and steadily towards the site. DC Rules is making his way in the back as well. He's taking a bit of more damage as Marzel is the man who's quite softened up. Even DC Rules, he doesn't really have a lot of HP to support him. And what's going on? Cybel, he doesn't even check in the back. I guess that was a nice fake being made from DC Rules. That's a 200 IQ play. And MLT Esports, DC Rules might just manage to squeak this round away, but no, it's going to be the answer. Marzel clutches it with only 10 HP.
Marzel, what a difference maker. First that double kill towards B, and then the final frag to seal the deal. Captain really stepping up, and with that triple, he's now farmed up his null command. That should let them get into retake positions really, really well. But yeah, you really got to appreciate this, you know, because at first, DC Rules was spotted towards the back of site, and then he repositioned himself, which really bamboozled Lucia. Sorry, not Lucia, it really bamboozled Cybel.
And I guess that round was really needed for Lethal Esports to sort of stop the momentum MLT Esports were able to build.
Sure.
A solid round, though. These type of rounds can definitely be the momentum breaker for your opponents and sort of give you an upper hand in the upcoming rounds. As Rossi's got his hands on the operator, and DC Rules is going to go for a plant on that lockdown. But how much is he going to wait before he goes for the plant? 2 ultimates, 2 huge ultimates being committed for this site take. Let's see how this pans out.
Yeah, this lockdown will clear out the site, and the Cosmic Divide makes it much easier for MLT Esports to move in now that Lethal can't just randomly spam through smokes. But that doesn't mean that they can't peek out of it. Even a Viper Spit gets committed. Fox just about earns that ultimate, and it deploys it right away. Metal leave nothing to chance.
That and Lethal Esports. Oh man, we're losing out these players. The operator taken down as well. Lethal Esports, they have 2 players on the flank. This Viper's Pit is just going to be a huge problematic situation for them. MLT Esports, the amount of ultimates they have committed, 3 ultimates committed at the same time, and a flawless round to back it up. Nicely done, but in the upcoming rounds, they're not going to have the ultimates anymore. So for Lethal Esports, there's not going to be that big of a threat.
That's okay. They were more than comfortable committing the ultimates because they knew that it would break Lethal's economy. It would send them down into that cycle which Lethal have been trying to claw their way out of since, I don't know, since the very first map. So Metal are okay with committing 3 ults. Lethal once again find themselves staring at the wrong end of an eco battle. And at this point for MLT Esports, it's kind of like shooting fish in a battle. It doesn't really pose a challenge. It doesn't really pose a threat. This Poison Cloud gets thrown a little further than most Vipers would usually throw it, simply so the orb can be picked up. But Rossi uses the timing to his advantage.
A fake dash from Rossi, actually. But Tricky has his sound cues ready. Knew that he didn't really dash away, so Rossi's still positioned in the pocket. Tricky got rid of the man in the close, so the threat's neutralized now on the B long side. Still 3 players to go, Marzil, Lucia, and Civi. On the other hand, 4 players are available to MLT Esports. They've got the man advantage available, and Lethal Esports so far. This B stack, I would say, worked out sort of. It was a 2-for-1 trade in an eco round. It's a decent trade. Ooh, 145 on the head, Sheriff. In that distance, it's not going to one-tap, but certainly it's going to take her opponent down quite a lot. And now Tricky's able to find the opening. Smooth sailing on the side, it should be. Tricky with a 3K. Really putting some efforts on the board.
Oh, now this is a little problematic. Mars is going for the peek. He needs to play along with Shivy in order to make this double peek work, but Shivy's cut off by the toxin screen. Now that the poison's out, it's just down to him, and DC Rules is accounting for it. Clean round for Metal. Could have been cleaner, but at least they are keeping they're keeping MLT Esports ahead. Yes, Lethal can try their tricks, they can try the fake dashes, they can try the one-off plays, and whatever it is that the eco rounds allow them to do. As long as Metal are cautious, it's fine. And so far, we haven't really seen something too complicated out of Metal, you know? They haven't really tried to explore double doors yet, they haven't really tried to explore art yet. I mean, at least they made one little contact peek towards the pistol round in double doors, but ever since that, they've just given up on the area. They've just been hitting A main and B main respectively. And if this forces Lethal into a false sense of security that they leave double door open, yeah, that's when Metal will start to create problems for them.
Wow. JE, a random spam to the screen, finds Lucia. Lucia taken care of early off this time, and that means there's no controller available whatsoever for Lethal Esports. That means they will now need to try and play this round on the complete resistance. They will need to resist the side control. Good find from Rossi, but also a fantastic trade to follow it up. Shivy completely cuts off the lurkers. The player being stunned up. Marzil's flash is not going to find the connection. And one more man to go. Cybel on a huge mission to clutch it out. He's on the flank angle, going all the way towards the B-long area. And I'm pretty sure this flank is now going to be known, considering there was a Seeker seeking him out. Cybel's position compromised. He has no clue where the rest of the 2 players are, but both of them are playing on the site.
He can use the lockdown if it's needed, but he knows for a fact the moment he goes for the plant, both MLT Esports players will challenge him. Is he ready for this kind of a double peek? Or is he willing to take the risk by not planting the lockdown at all? At least he's breaking the nano swarm, so time is not going to be an issue, but JE still gets it. Great awareness from MLT Esports.
Nice 4K. JE nicely done from his side. MLT Esports able to squeeze yet another round in their hands. This play from Shivy, man. If you would have been able to take out the second man too, it was next to impossible to steal this round away from Lethal Esports.
Yeah, that's true. You also gotta appreciate Shivy's sense of timing, because his teammates saw 3 towards D main, and he's like, where are the rest of the people? So Shivy, he took it upon himself to find out the answers, and he found the ASTER off guard. Fortunately, couldn't succeed with the trades going forth, but look at the aggression this time. Oh my goodness, these guys have no chill. Rossi running in towards mid, his teammates crunching art as well, and just like that, in the blink of an eye, Metal have lost 2. They might lose more. It's a whole train of death rushing towards shops. Lucia's upgraded to a Vandal.
Oh my god. How do you not expect a man there, Lucia? Just running out straight up with a knife in the hand, especially if you know all the 4 players were there. Then you're supposed to expect the remaining players there as well. Marzil falling back all the way towards Arts. He's thinking that there might just be a rotation coming in soon, but Lethal Esports, so far it does seem like it's a wrong read. Marzil all the way on the A site. JE crawling towards the double doors area, wanting to take the link control in his hands. And he will do so. Such quiet and peace.
Yeah. And it's often in these quiet situations where tensions really start to rise. Hawk's been used to clear backside, but Marzil can't hear this. But As soon as he figures out the plant's going
Spike
down,
planted.
now he needs to move. He can probably get there before JE gets into a post-plant angle. Caught with the 0 point. He now knows that JE is close. But he instead assumed that he's towards CT or Heaven. Doesn't think that JE will definitely be towards B main. The spike isn't even planted for upper B ramp. So Marzel's reading this wrong. It's deliberately a bad plant, and JE, he's looking to play these brain games, and he has the bigger brain indeed.
I mean, you can't call it a bad plant, but JE just outsmarted Marzel.
Exactly. It was a baited plant. Nobody decides to really play towards B ramp after planting it so deep in the site that you can't even see where it is. So,
and I think so he did the same thing in the pistol round as well, where he made it seem like it was the long plant, but he just went all the way towards Heaven.
Yeah. JE in these clutch situations always stepping up. This is his second clutch of the half, right? Or is it third? I kind of lost track.
Second clutch of JE.
Damn.
Wow. Some nice shenanigans trying to be pulled off over here from Tricky, but wasn't able to find the opening. But Rossi, on the other hand, though, was able to retaliate back in style. There's players waiting in the front, but the initial shots missed Marzel. Definitely not a shot you want to miss on your opponents, but Shivi's there to at least get the trades in the hand, so that's a huge trade. Even though the loss was capitalized, and now we're down to a 4-on-3 scenario. MLT Esports having a little disadvantage in their hands, but still, the morals haven't been taken care of.
They're waiting for contact, and Cybele peeks ahead. At least on the other side of the map, Rossi's killed Fox, so now they know for sure that the B site is not going to be hit. This is Shivi's cue to start pinching them inside. The last two members of Metal were spotted towards Art, so Shivi just wants to make sure they can't fall back from there and kind of channel them in towards where Lethal wants them to go. But regardless of whether Lethal can predict this push towards mid-con or not, B site is indeed open.
Oh my god, this is huge.
30 seconds
Shivi
left.
is seeing this coming. And he's about to first the trigger discipline!
No!
But he works against him, Shivi! A situation where he could have got the first one. But as everyone says, greed is not good. And that's what happened there. Too greedy, Shivi went for the trigger discipline play, thinking that he might be able to shut both of them down. But that was not the case. The second man takes the similar angle, and he gets the kill onto Shivi. One more to go. DC rules all by himself inside this clutch scenario. And a Cosmic Divide used as well. And Rossi's holding the angle with the operator.
Yeah, now it's gonna be these guys both jiggling around the corners with each, and he almost made the spray transfer work. Yeah, the Cosmic Divide, it's always precarious, right? Just peeking in and out of it. Your movement has to be on point over there.
He was mainly just scared of that operator. That's why he didn't want to peek out in the first way. Because he knew that the operator is going to be holding the angle. So, sort of jiggle peek first, got the information. Then he knew that the operator's all the way in the back site. Also heard the classic go off, so he knew that the player's in the close. Peeked out for the classic, he got the man, and he thought the second guy is probably going to be sticking the defuse, but knows was the answer. Lucia wasn't defusing. Instead, he refused to defuse, and he was holding the wall as well with his teammate. So, perfectly done. And another good round of the board. It seems like Lethal Esports really want to make this 8-4 half. Look at Fox, he's looking to peek out of his teammate. First man found. Marzel really unaware of the fact that there might be someone holding that angle.
And even if he was aware, he didn't use any flashes to clear it out.
Yeah.
This costs them quite a lot. Marzel has been a force to be reckoned with all Lethal Esports up until now. Seeker's giving them so much information though. Now Metal are aware exactly what the setup is. They realize there's 2 on A, maybe 2 on B, and mid seems to be very weak. Lockdown planted, but that's not where the full commitment is. In fact, the bigger commitment is towards Art, and this is going to be a big crunch. First lockdown gets over, the second one committed, but it's okay. Lethal,
oh my god,
are not going to push them back. Metal can afford to fall, but they are committing even deeper. There you have it. Finally, they are forced to respect the lockdown.
But the amount of shots that were being missed by Tricky, not a position you want to be in. And look at DC rules. Now it's going to start a flank, and he catches the man, falling back. A huge kill onto his opponent. And Rossi, even though he knows there's a flank activated, he's still moving up forward. As Rossi peeks out the angle, finds the headshot onto Fox with the operator, but the spike goes down on the A site. Mind games are being played to perfection, and now Lethal Esports, this is the last round, so you might as well try and commit, but DC Rule catches him off guard.
And this is exactly what Metal have always been going for, just making Lethal Esports run around the map like it's a marathon. Metal's reluctance to commit right off the bat pays off dividends multifold because they avoid the lockdown, go fake towards B, and then at the same time DC Rule's on this massive flank, which makes Rossi so paranoid he was never even aware of the fact that the spike traveled back towards the A site. And that's Metal Esports, always having backup plans upon backup plans.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know that's going to be it for the first half. It's a 9-3 first half. There might be a curse being activated, considering we know both these teams aren't really that great on their defending side. But hey, anything can be done. Anything can be pulled out by these teams, and they have been over here proving that over and over again. We're going to push to a short break. Don't go anywhere.
Can't for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Can't for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, Valorant Challenger South Asia, as we do move on forward in the second half, where we now know Lethal Esports is going to be forced on the attacking side, and Metal Esports, they will be tested with how strong their chains are from holding Lethal off of those bomb sites.
I mean, this line, this score line, it's cursed. We saw a massive comeback in the previous game. There's a chance it might happen once again. But so far, Lethal Esports seem to be falling right into the mind games that Metal Esports are putting up. And Metal are always a step ahead. They seem to be reading Lethal like a book. And you can't even blame Lethal, right? Because they are trying to variate the pace. They sometimes hold their default, sometimes play aggro towards mid. So it's not like Lethal aren't really trying anything else. But Metal just always a step ahead. The reads are immaculate. Forget reads, it's almost like Metal are writing their own destiny, writing their own story.
Speak of this, and Lethal Esports, they have been looking quite strong in their attack, considering how quick they are on executing whatever they have planned, but this time, they're taking the initial steps a little slow. Taking their time, the Prowler's out as well to clear out the close angles, no one being spotted. Lethal Esports moving up front, slowly and steadily. Tricky is there in the close lines, but a man too close, and Tricky will shut him down. He will put him to sleep in the coffin. But now Tricky's got a little bit too many players in the front, and a lot of shots missed even from Fox and Lethal Esports. They do not this time, though. The capitalization is there from the side of Lethal Esports, and now we're down to a 3-on-1.
Wow, now that was a fast one, wasn't it? Just brawling all over the place. Lethal Esports taking violence personally. Kakarot barging through. Not afraid of making any sound cues. But there's a massive crossfire this time. Shivi and Lucia playing off of each other's contact. This smoke kind of breaks it to some extent, but Lucia still has a line of sight in case Kakarot doesn't move into the smoke. Fake tap. Sounds given away for one player. He knows where Shivi is. Needs to find out where's Lucia, and he doesn't have the info. Shot in the back of the head, and Lethal start off pistol on a good road.
9-4. That means the upcoming round as well should be in the hands of Lethal Esports. Trick in the back was able to find a really nice opening here. But unfortunately, his teammates' cover fire was way too late. If his teammates were on the side helping out his teammate right there, Tricky, then things could have been way different. But overall, the rotation on the B side was just way too late, where Tricky wasn't really able to stay alive for long enough, and then later on, Lethal Esports just started running through the site, and once again, it's going to be a quick take.
gamble stack on A. Not gonna pay off, so at least Lethal can find this round without any resistance whatsoever. I mean, Lethal don't know it's far now. There's only a big toxin screen staring them in the face, so they will still use all their utils, still take all the necessary precautions, which is good. It kind of reduces the amount of utility that Lethal have in post-plant. Metal, though, they just got a funnel inside. Hope that the trades are taking care of things.
Blinded.
Marzil is soften up a little bit. Definitely cannot afford to be on low HP, but you know you're on an anti-eco and the opponents only have the classics in the hand. They're just looking to do as much damage as possible. And Kakarot! Sometimes the Spectres is quite evil. The spread can be quite random. And I guess Marzil Spectre didn't really help him out in that situation. Sort of worked against him. Still, though, 2 players are alive, and both those players in metal, they're not willing to give their lives away to the opponents. Instead, they decide to kill themselves with the spike explosion.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite expected. But now we really start to see the fight. Metal Esports, weapons on board, armed to the teeth, but not anywhere close to their ultimates. This is going to be a very complicated round for them. Fox not having a great game so far, but I guess I can say the same for Cybele. He's sitting on 1 frag. That's a big concern. And he had his chance in the defensive half. He could have used his kills or utility to the max, but now it seems like that opportunity is gone.
Think about the opportunity, and you're going to be presented in front of you with this. Lethal Esports just going for the arts control, or at least the presence was there. And look at this, Kakarot's just not knowing the fact that there might be someone on the spawn holding him off. And Lucia was the one checking the flank this time, and he was able to get the first kill on the board. Considering this is the buy round for Metal Esports, they're way too desperate to get this round in the hand. Unless if this round is not going to be in the hands of Metal, we might just see a comeback being established by Lethal. Cybele is holding quite an interesting off angle. With a Spectre in the close, it might just reign supreme, but Fox connects the headshot. And that's a nice one. Make it a 3-on-4, and Metal Esports will still go for the comeback, or will still go for this entire retake scenario.
Yeah, but there's not too much util available on Metal. They have to win it on the basis of their aim duels, and the moment I say that, its statement manifests itself. Wow! Gee, this guy is an absolute monster. I just mentioned that there's barely any util available on Metal. No smokes to cut off the A main angle. No flashes either. Whatever flashes that JE had, he already used it up and it didn't find much value. But there he is, the Guardian Angel. Angel, rather. And he is just unrelenting, man. So much pressure on his shoulders, but he just refuses to budge.
He's proven out to be the lifesaver so far. All the time, man. When things were really just cracking down for Metal Esports, Jay steps up huge.
Yeah.
2 clutches so far, and you might as well just count this third one as well in, because he didn't even have a lot of HP to get the final kill.
Yeah. His teammate, well, close enough for not in a position to get the trade successfully. Oh my god, that's a deadly combination. A gravity weld, nanoswarm, and if that's not enough, a bullet to the head. Goodbye, Rossi. That's a brutal death.
That's a prime example of getting cooked up.
Yeah.
Lethal Esports. They've got a man on the main. As soon as Lucy's presence was being spotted, instantly the smoke's going to be dropped off as well. Jay gets the presence now. Marzil, nice kill. DC rules capitalized and gone rid of. Lucia going for the ARP, getting caught off guard. What an unexpected push from Metal. And these are the type of pushes Metal Esports need to start doing often. And Lethal Esports this time, they started to make a complete change on the side take.
Yeah, and now it's a race to the B side. Tricky's already beat into the punch. He knows where Cybele is, and that's a juicy one, man. Now you know why Cybele is having a bad game. He gets shot in such brutal manner every now and then. There's nothing to cover them while they plant. Shibby has to be the bodyguard. In fact, Marzil isn't the bodyguard over here. Takes a little bit of damage, but it's still a 2v2. Tricky still undiscovered towards the back of site. They need to somehow get rid of him, but look at Shivy. He's already on the big move. Marzel plays the safe position towards ramp, which is what we would normally expect. But Shivy hasn't revealed himself yet, and when he finally does, he gets the advantage. The clutch player is out of the bag. Tricky sticking the defuse. Does Shivy peek this one? Guardian versus Vandal, and Shivy comes out on top. Lethal Esports keep themselves alive. But this whole
white swing.
Yeah, the white swing is one thing, but you gotta appreciate the amount of adjustments that MLT Esports had to face. Lethal were just keeping them on their toes. First, the art defense was successful. They cooked up Ross. But Marcel hustled through the utility, and he found himself in that box, which nobody checked. So Marcel gets that opening frag.
Time to work.
And then they just race towards the B side. And even though Tricky gets there first, the way Lethal stick together via B-Link keeps them alive, keeps them in a position where they can trade each other out. There was no cover while they were planting, so Marcel had to be the bodyguard, and he did so really well.
Esports. Now they know that the null command's being activated as well, so you might as well try to stay out of his range. Lethal Esports, they're being respected inside this round. It is an eco round for Metal, but this flank from Cybo can prove out to be quite huge. DC Rules is still holding that flank, but there is a turret in the close lines, and Cybo is not going to fall prey to that turret. DC Rules, he's not peeking out just yet as the contacts made by the turret. Cybo peeks out in the close, but it's not going to matter because Cybo's taken care of. Metal Esports, utilities on the board, snake bites are there to try and refuse the site control for as long as possible and to try and make some space for themselves. But Rossi in the clotheslines is able to deal a lot of damage to the opponents. Lethal Esports, this post plant's being played really nicely. And now Fox, the last glimmer of hope alive.
Say whatever you want, Lethal Esports post plants towards the B side are actually very impressive. If they can get that plant down, then the round is almost guaranteed to go in their favor. Look at the amount of adjustments that they had, and I'm really starting to appreciate Lethal in this Pearl map because the moment that Spike went down, basically Cybele activated himself. He waited for the turret peak, and even though the timing was off, he made it work. He got the kills. Metal Esports, because there was pressure being applied by Cybele, had no choice but to funnel themselves in towards the back halls, which they wouldn't normally do. They wouldn't send all their players towards back halls. They had to do it because there was no other choice. If they stayed towards the side, they would have been pinched. So then they all go towards backside. They have to peek out from there. And at that point, Metal Esports have already fallen back all the way towards the top of ramp where they have safe positions. Post blunts secured.
Some heavy talking being done from Hacker. And that talking's really needed too, Crips. Considering how these post-plant scenarios are going for them. And we have talked about this entire defending half too in the previous game as well. Both these teams are struggling when it comes to the defending side. So Metal Esports really needs to start figuring the stuff out as quick as possible. And I think so. The biggest problem for Metal Esports is that the way they're rotating inside the site, I don't think so it's quick enough. The rotations are just not quick enough to make the trade happen.
On the contrary, Lethal Esports always have really fast rotations. And they're fast enough that even if they over-rotate, they can correct themselves in time. That's how rapid they were when Lethal were on defense.
Here. Blocking sight.
And you need to be that fast. This time, Lethal Esports once again, quite a fiery start to this round as they take the arts control in the hand. And they'll need to fall back. Marshall just straight up dry peeking the angle. This man does not even care about anything in the world. Fox is able to get the trade, but that kill from Rossi was just complete random. He missed the shot on the Fox, but unfortunately he found the man who was behind the door. So I guess it's a fair trade. Rossi did his job of taking out JE, who was supposed to be the biggest threat inside this tournament or inside this final map.
Yeah, and that was a frag he did not deserve. He got it for absolutely free without even seeing his opponent. Look at Marzel though. While his teammates are trying to avoid the lockdown, he's already reached the B site. So even though Metal expect Lethal to hit B, they wouldn't expect Marzel to get here this quickly. Kakarot's watching water, and just by the course of nature, he gets a freebie onto Marzel. So I guess both the teams get one free kill each. Ha! Now it's all even.
Left.
Even Steven, but it's a 3-on-4 still. advantage in the hands of MLT Esports. You can't really
Spike
call it
planted.
that much even. Kakarot's able to sneak in once again. This man's just able to bring those surprise plays on the
Last
deck.
player standing.
Cybele was able to surprise his opponent too, but once again, the man advantage being favoring the opponents more. Lucia, a great opening, but this Cosmic Divide is playing against him, and he straight up walks inside the crosshair of Kakarot. Kakarot with a huge 3K. Saving the day for his team. If not Jay, it's Kakarot. Both these imports, man, they're really performing on the time.
Everybody stepping up individually. It's even funnier when you see it in replay, you know. Rossi just got that one for absolutely
Last
free.
player standing.
But you gotta feel bad for Marzel. His play was actually very nice. He beat the timing. He was supposed to bamboozle MLT Esports. It just so happened that Kakarot was marking water from CT spawn, not from anywhere else. If he was just 2 steps ahead, then Marzel would be able to get that first kill onto him. And that's just the luck of the draw.
MLT Esports, as they start to move in once again, and they're always just pressuring that art control, and they got rid of Fox. That is such a big pick. That is really huge. Getting rid of that Viper's ult. Now you're also accessing that entire arts control in your hands. A huge pick from Marzel. Sort of like a solo man on the mission, and he was able to successfully come out on top in that mission as well.
Yeah, but DC Rules can't move in from Art just yet. He's so paranoid about the flank from Cybele. Little does he know that Cybele's already rejoined his teammates towards A main, so now that he's finally heard the footsteps, DC Rules can continue moving forward. It's not like he has much choice. There's pressure for time. There's also the lockdown in place, and Tricky turns around to get the shot onto Rossi. That is so huge.
Come now, come on.
The dash wasn't expected in the back in secret.
One enemy
Well,
remaining.
if you do take a look at DC rolls, he starts to pop off, but Jay's going for the defuse, and he manages to barely squeeze the defuse out. Kakarot, Jay just backing his teammate up. Such nicely done. It was supposed to be planted for the main, but Kakarot is a sneaky man.
Yeah, it was supposed to be planted just a little bit towards A main. I mean, the spike was visible, but Lethal don't realize that someone can still stick it while not being visible from A main.
Yeah, but it's spammable. So I guess you could have tried to spam the player out if you know he's not really in front of your crosshairs.
Or you can use the nano swarms. That didn't happen because Cybele was not in place. They can't use the gravity well because Lucia was already busy fighting. So yeah, things just sort of fall into place for MLT Esports.
And they're now on the map point as well, ladies and gentlemen. One more round to go for MLT Esports to seal the deal on this defending side. Marzel once again just showing that mid presence as always. This man has been so dangerous for them in mid. And he's always able to find these value packs where the opponents aren't able to find any sort of a reply. And once again, hands busy, Fox being caught. And now this aggression being amped up from Lethal Esports. They really want to fight for the lifeline.
And they're bringing the fight to metal. Aggression overload. They are pushing this pedal to the metal. DC Rules almost got the spray transfer successfully, but Lethal overwhelm him. It's a 2v4. This round's basically slipped away for metal. Unless Tricky and Kakarot pull off the absolute impossible, this seems to be yet another round that Lethal will get in the bag. Shivy, this could be a very bad instance of timing. Tricky just about walks there, but now Shivy's prepared. He's in an angle to fight Tricky properly. If only Tricky was a second earlier, he could have gotten that kill. But it wouldn't have made things easier for Kakarot. He's still in a 1v3.
Yep. With only 21 HP, and Kakarot's going to go for the save on that Vandal. Because look at credits MLT Esports has. They don't really have a lot of money left over, so might as well try to save as much as possible, right? Going for that Vandal save. Kakarot not really going for a lot of gambles here. Playing things safe and sound. Another round in the hands of Lethal, but Kakarot. I feel bad. That's a little Papega moment.
Yeah. Doomed if you do, doomed if you don't. Metal find themselves with their backs against the wall. And luckily there's a little bit of a buffer between this wall and the valley. The Valley of Death, I mean. But Lethal Esports look to close that gap really, really fast.
Oh boy, I'm just sad for Kakarot. He wanted to go for a safe, but he didn't even get the Vandal in the hand. It's just sad. Well, it's completely fine though, as it's going to be a complete reset play from MLT Esports. They're on the Eco. They don't really have a lot of guns or better guns in their hands. They went for some Spectres and some Marshals and some Ghosts on the board. If the Marshal's able to find out or at least squeeze out some value or soften up the targets, then maybe the Ghost and the Spectres will start to come through. But so far, it sounds pretty tough.
Wait, what? You said it sounded tough, but Kakarot is making this look like a piece of cake. Rossi and Shivi at least stabilized the round back in the favor. And while Kakarot is capable of pulling off miracles, this is one too tough of a magic trick.
Clutchmeister! Not this time though, Crips. I was scared, man. As soon as I saw JE on the board, I was like, okay, this man has been feeling himself. I don't know what the lucky charm is for this man, but every time this man has been left inside a clutch situation, he's popped off.
Yeah. And MLT can't afford to let any of those clutches slip by. Massive ultimates on either side. Marcel's got the Null Command, Shivi with the Nightfall. This could easily be used to breach a site. Meanwhile, DC Rules has the Lockdown, which can be used for retake. So these abilities naturally counter each other. The only X factor is gonna be that Cosmic Divide on Lucia.
Prowler being used once again. And this scoreline is just stuck on 12, man.
Too early.
I really just want to make something happen. This math points in the hands of MLT Esports is probably going to start to make them feel even more uncomfortable. The spike plant goes down. Jay's posted up quite close. And the detention happens as well. Marzel being taken down from the game. And as we all know, Lethal Esports, they're able to follow up with 2 of their own, but MLT Esports, they start to retaliate back, and now with a huge man advantage, this is looking like a possible round and a possible pull-off.
Oh no. The flag is not successful. Rossi has been cut off. Lucia can at least use the Astro utility to delay them, but this Cosmic Divide is now gonna make this entire spike diffuser bulletproof. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. It's GG.
Oh boy, even if the flank didn't really come through, I still feel like he should have tried to go there no matter what. He didn't have another option left, Crips.
He really did not. He tried to make that flank work from B-Link. He even got a kill, which is impressive enough, but that detention, that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
That was still the final round in the entire best-of-3 series was way too close for comfort. MLT Esports in the end, ladies and gentlemen, they came through victorious as expected. Predictions were heavily stacked even from the side of audience towards MLT Esports inside this matchup, and they do end up securing this entire BO3. But you know what I'm excited for next? That is the overall standings and how it is looking like, because Group B is way too close for comfort. Reckoning Esports and MLT Esports, they're going to fight for the lifeline. MLT Esports' last game is done today. It was not a complete one-sided game, so that means MLT Esports will still be in that danger zone.
Yeah, now the best that they can do is that pray that Orangutan beat Reckoning by a massive margin. That's the best they can do, just pray and hope. Lethal Esports out of the tournament, having lost every single game they played, but at least they reclaim their honor by putting up one map win.
What a game. What a series. Lethal Esports, tough fight. They wanted to go out with a bang, but in the end, they tried their best. They got the second map of Haven in the hand. They defeated MLT Esports on their own map pick. And then on the decider as well, it went quite close. But Lethal Esports, they're unfortunately not able to redeem themselves. You guys are not going to be seeing Lethal Esports in the playoffs. I know for the fans, it's going to be a huge heartbreaker. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to push to a short break.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Hit on the wins, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Making dreams come true and memories happier.
same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this is 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this is 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this is 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and say sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 C's. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and say sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 C's. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track,